Benning lost his mom at 14. When Robin was born, he finally had someone to love like she loved him. It made me think that some dreams return as children.
Well, first off, Your Honor, my mother passed away when I was 14 years old. She was my best friend. We spent every waking moment together. After she died, it, left me hurt. I always wanted a daughter, and I promised I was gonna take care of her and treat her like my mother took care of me.
Tell me about that relationship.
So close. She's goofy. She loves daddy. She's a daddy's baby.
While his girlfriend gave birth, Benning got a message from a man saying the baby was his. Benning stayed quiet and signed anyway. Silence can sometimes be louder than pain.
It actually happened during labor, Your Honor. I was in the hospital sitting across from Kayla. She was pushing this baby out. And I received a text from a guy telling me to leave the hospital because that's his baby and he needs to be there.
What?
I am in labor, like literally in the hospital. And I received a text telling me that the child that I'm waiting to come isn't mine.
She told Benning one man wasn't the father, but he knew there were others. I kept thinking how fast doubt grows when the truth is full of holes.
So, Mr. Benning, you still build the relationship, but you still have a doubt?
Yes, quite a few. First off, the DNA test doesn't mean anything considering the fact that she's cheated on me with more than one person.
Oh.
There could be other guys out there, that's just one,
During every fight, she said Robin wasn't his. Her words hit like hidden punches. It felt cruel, even just hearing it from someone else.
Anytime that something's wrong, I'm also reminded, oh, you're not her father. But if you need something, I'm the father.
You say stuff to hurt my feelings, why can't
Have I
I do
ever
it
told
to
you that you're not the parent of your kid?
You can't, I pushed them out.
So
Okay.
you're just gonna stab me in the back and tell me that I'm not the
This is
father
why
of
we're
the
here today.
kid that I take care of?
This is why we're here today to prove it.
Let's prove it then.
Benning thought Robin looked like his mom, but hearing she might not be his broke something inside him. It felt like grief came back wearing a new face.
That little girl right there is my mother come back to be with me.
And
When
she
you
looks
tell me
just
that,
like your
when you tell
mother.
me
She's
she's
her
not
twin.
mine, it feels like you're taking my mother away from me again.
Look at them, look, they're twins.
She's beautiful. They do look a lot alike.
People texted him saying Robin wasn't his. The calls and whispers kept coming. I can't imagine being a dad while drowning in that much doubt.
Change her diaper and look at her and play with her and she's calling me daddy and there's something in the back of my head saying she might not be. There's a text message on my phone saying she's not yours. There's people calling me on my phone saying I'm her dad. It's constant, and
Well, this is why we're here to
after a certain time, you can't just ignore it anymore. It keeps happening. It's hard to ignore, very hard.
Bodine swore he was the father, but lies made her words empty. Trust can break before love even has a chance. I've learned that truth needs more than words.
I don't trust the thing that really comes out of his mouth. I really don't. And to be honest with you, after all this has happened, depending on the doubts with Robin, I wouldn't know about my son as well.
I think it's important that we get this family some clarity.
The judge said he wasn't the real dad, but Benning stayed anyway. That kind of love doesn't need DNA to be real.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Benning, you are not the father.
He got another message, this time about Jermaine Jr. Bodine said the baby might not be his just to hurt him. Some words cut deeper than facts ever could.
There was a text to you, Mr. Benning, that says, I'm filing papers for a DNA test on Jermaine. That'll cause paternity doubt
Indeed.
24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
It's your honor, sure does. Every day.
Did you send it for good reason, or were you just being vindictive and mean?
vindictive and mean, trying to hurt your feelings.
Benning gave the baby his name and raised him. He did it all, feeding, hugging, playing. That's what real fatherhood looks like. No strings attached.
Jermaine Jr.'s birth,
Yes, I was in the hospital. while
did
he
you
was
sign
born.
that birth
I
certificate too?
did sign his birth certificate. He has
And
my
that's
first name.
been
and
submitted
he's
to the
junior.
court. Jermaine Truth Benning Jr. Your concern is that the truth is
That he's
you
not.
are not his biological father.
Yes, your honor.
The second test came. Like before, Benning.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Benning, you are not the father.
Mr. Dark said Ms. Bailey lied and tried to trap him. He claimed they were together only once, long ago. I felt nervous just hearing the way he spoke.
Mr. Dark, you say the defendant is a promiscuous liar who broke your heart 4 years ago, stepping out on your then relationship. You admit to having a one-night stand with her 2 years ago, but are furious. Ms. Bailey is now claiming you fathered her 11-month-old son, which you say is impossible.
Bailey's friend told him she cheated while he was gone. He still tried to fix things, but it was too late. It made me wonder why people stay when broken.
But when I come back, she was doing her best friend's hair at the house. So I came in. When I left out of the door to go to the store, her best friend came running out of the door to like, hey, Terrence, wait up for a second. I'm gonna go to the store with you. We went on to the store. Well, while we was going to the store, her friend started to tell me a story. She was like, well, I just want to tell you something. She was like, well, the whole time that you was gone, she was cheating on you.
Her best friend told you
This
that?
is what her best friend told me.
The baby was born in November, but they slept together in March. The timeline didn't make sense. I couldn't stop thinking someone was definitely lying.
You kept having sex until
2016.
It was like early March.
you have sex and you didn't use protection.
No.
ma'am.
When was Jameer born?
November 13th.
If Jameer's birth date is November 13, 2016, then that means the conception window would be February 17th, February 24th, 2016.
Right.
Bailey pressured him to sign the birth paper. He did it so the baby had his name. That made me think how guilt can push us to act.
And the reason why I signed the birth certificate, to answer your question, is because you told me at the hospital that if I didn't sign it right then I wouldn't have
I did
another
not.
opportunity to sign it. That's what you told me right there at the hospital.
Forced you to sign it. You
If
signed it on your
I
own.
didn't sign it, what was gonna happen? He won't have your last name, you won't get to sign it. Did you not say that? You know, you said
I did
that.
not tell you that. No, I did not. Okay, if you don't sign, okay, that's on you.
Dark's girlfriend said her baby was made the same week next year. Her story matched the judge's timeline. My brain was spinning trying to keep up.
What would you like to tell the court?
Well, first, in my personal opinion, I don't feel like the baby looks like him. Just my personal opinion.
Feel like there is a physical resemblance?
No. Well, my due date is November 19th. My conception date is February 24th.
Oh,
Dark helped raise the baby, even while unsure. He gave him care, love, and time. That showed me what true responsibility looks like in the middle of doubt.
That's why you don't have your first child, because you don't do for her.
I've been a part of his life. I've gotten him. I've taken him with me. I've kept him. I took him to Alabama with me when I went to my granny's funeral last month. And my whole family
because
said
of what?
that's not your child.
so when your whole family said
whole
that's
family.
not your child.
My mama said, boy, if you don't get that baby out of here.
The judge said Dark is the legal dad since he signed. That's final, no matter the truth. I'd panic too if I made that choice too soon.
Even if he has not bought him something, he will be buying him things and paying child support because you put your name on that birth certificate, and that makes you the legal father. You do understand that, right? By signing that birth certificate, you have said to your state, I am acknowledging that I'm the father of this child, which means you're responsible to take care of the child.
The DNA test showed Dark, wow, this will hit harder than anything else in the episode.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Dark, you are the father.
Ms. Lopez entered the courtroom like a storm. She said Mr. Carbajal faked a DNA test to avoid being a dad. I felt the shock hit me hard.
Ms. Lopez, you are here today because you claim the defendant, Mr. Carbajal, allegedly perpetuated a DNA testing scam to try to deny paternity of your kids. You say you are tired of struggling daily to take care of your children alone, and you need to prove he's their biological father today.
They met online and things moved too fast. He said they were intimate without protection the first night. She denied it, but admitted it happened soon. How does it go so far?
Well, I met her through a social network. She told me, hey, come see me, for the weekend or just one night. So I went to go see her. And that day that I went to go see her, we basically had sex that first night.
When she said she was pregnant, he didn't smile. He stepped back. He didn't want a baby with someone he didn't love. That made my stomach twist in knots.
Your Honor, after I found out I was pregnant, he did not have anything to say. We talked later, and he was still in shock, telling me that he didn't want to have a baby with someone he did not love.
So at that time, you told him you're pregnant. He didn't seem to be that enthused.
No, he was not.
He loved the girl so much, he got her name tattooed. But one photo made him question everything. My chest got tight just hearing the story.
He says he's the father. He's even has her name tattooed on his arm. He was there.
Even though you doubted?
Because when she was first born, I was attached to her. I was really attached to her.
Okay, so you were attached to her.
Yeah.
So then why doubt? What made you doubt?
The picture.
His sister saw a photo of another man on Lopez's phone. She said the man looked like the child. One picture sent everyone into chaos and doubt.
She showed my sister Miriam.
He was a friend
picture
of mine.
a guy, and my sister took picture of her phone.
He was a
because
friend of mine,
that guy
Your Honor.
looked exactly like.
No.
So
Rihanna.
you were showing pictures in your phone
She was
of
showing
a
my
guy
sister.
to your sister.
Yes.
Your Honor,
And
he
she
was a
came
friend.
across a picture that she felt looked just like
Yes, Your Honor. Aliana.
Aliana.
Carbajal said he couldn't sign the baby's papers. Lopez and her mom claimed he wasn't there. The yelling made it hard to know who to trust.
Well, when he was first born, like, she didn't let me sign his birth certificate. I didn't even sign his birth certificate. Why wouldn't she let me? She's saying I'm the father. Why couldn't I sign the birth certificate?
Because you weren't there from the beginning.
I was there.
I was there when they both were.
Hold on, let's get some order.
He said the baby had dark skin and a cleft lip, which didn't run in his family. Lopez said the child looked like her ex's dad. I felt the tension rise.
I'm light-skinned, Your Honor.
He looks just like
Your
his grandpa.
dad is dark.
His
That
dad
doesn't
is
mean
dark.
anything. That doesn't mean
My
anything.
little boy, my little grandson looks just like your dad because
Yes,
there
he
are
does.
He
pictures.
doesn't. No,
There's
he doesn't.
pictures
Yes.
that we
No.
looked side by side.
Yes,
he looks
he
like
did.
your dad. He's
My
from you
my
guys.
family does not have
Your
a
Honor.
history of cleft lip.
Doesn't
you
matter.
Whether it's my mom or my dad's side.
Listen.
Lopez sent a photo of another man holding the baby. She wanted to make Carbajal jealous. I had to ask, who would do that on purpose?
She also sent me a picture of a man holding my baby.
Wait, you sent him a picture?
I sent him a picture to
of
show
Why
him.
would
someone
you
else
send a-
holding a child that you said was his?
I sent it because to show him that there would be another man,
Why would
possibly,
it be another man?
possibly, and take care of his responsibility. I did not meet up with my ex until a month before I had my daughter.
Carbajal used a store-bought DNA kit without ID or witness. Lopez didn't know, and names were spelled wrong. I was stunned. How can anyone trust that test?
He did a paternity test that he bought from the store. I did not know about it until he gave me the results that came back.
My mom bought it off the counter. They came with swabbing things, you know?
Okay, so it came with all of the utensils,
Yes,
everything
and
you
then
needed.
paperwork, and then we did the swabbing. I swabbed my lips, I swabbed the kids' lips, and then we basically did the paperwork and we sent them in.
Judge Lake read the results. Carbajal wasn't Aliana's dad. The room fell quiet. My heart dropped with his.
2-year-old Aliana Lopez Carbajal. Mr. Carbajal, you are not her father.
After many denials, Lopez admitted she had another partner. The courtroom exploded with anger from Carbajal's side. I was floored. How do you lie like that?
So I'll ask you again. Were you sleeping with anyone else besides Mr. Carbajal at the time?
One, Your Honor.
Which is the one in the picture.
It's not the one in the
Obviously.
picture,
I'm sure
okay?
it is.
No, it's not, Christina.
Ms. Lopez,
Yes.
you stood in this courtroom and lied.
Then it got worse.
Mr. Carbajal, you are not.
Thank you.
Noah's
Thank
father.
you, Your Honor. Thank you.
Lopez said both kids had different fathers and claimed to know who. The judge called out her lies and warned her. I watched her world fall apart.
Now, you two people's mother. Do you know who their fathers are?
Yes, I do.
Is it the same person or two different fathers?
Two, but I know who they are.
I don't even know if you're telling the truth right now.
No.
Because only you know the truth. And I will leave you with this cautionary tale.
This young woman says the baby's father is either an absent guy or her mom's boyfriend. The courtroom froze like a wave hit. I sat there, stunned and speechless.
Ms. Holthouse, you are here to prove paternity of your 3-month-old son, Zayden. Shockingly, you confess it's either a man you shared a sexual relationship with who wants nothing to do with your child, or the defendant who happens to be your mother's boyfriend.
It all began with a strange text sent by mistake. Days later, she wore tight clothes and they flirted nonstop. I still don't get how it got bad so fast.
It started out as a text message, Your Honor. I received, it wasn't supposed to come to me, and a word was misspelled. It was a word. A few days later, tight clothing, little skirt, breast out. Next thing you know, one thing led to another. We started flirting with each other back and forth. Things just escalated from there.
Did you ever think in your mind this is inappropriate?
She snuck out of Grandma's house and met him at the park. They didn't just talk, they were intimate outside. I couldn't believe how casual she made it sound.
I snuck out of my grandma's house that night and we went to a park.
And what happened at the park?
We had sexual relations.
So you got a phone call while you're at your grandmother's house?
Yes, Your Honor.
For 6 months, they hid the secret from everyone. People only found out after both got arrested. I was sweating just thinking about their double life.
So how long did this sexual relationship last?
It was about 6 months.
Did your mother have any idea this was going on?
She didn't have any idea until Mr. Chenault and her got locked up and he got out while he was in jail. She had kind of manipulated both of us, saying that I told her about what we did and I never said anything, and she said that he told her about what we did and he never said anything.
One day, her mom walked in and caught them. No excuses, just pants down and chaos. My jaw dropped hearing how that scene went down.
She caught me standing in front of her, my pants unzipped. She was really furious and upset, and we basically got into huge arguments and fights about things that were going on.
And so when you found out you were pregnant, Ms. Holthouse, did your mother know anything about this?
No, Your Honor.
Her mom had a baby with him just months earlier. That means their kids could be half siblings. I paused the video. I needed to breathe.
As my mom was pregnant with my sister, my sister is Mr. Chenault's daughter.
How old is her daughter?
She's about to turn 11 months.
How old is your child?
He is 3 months.
3 months.
They still live together but can't talk or share rooms. Her mom listens in, even lowers the TV. I can't imagine living under those rules.
Oh, we actually all stay together.
You all stay together?
Yes, ma'am.
You all live together?
Yes, Your Honor. Well, there are rules laid down for me and Miss Holthouse, her daughter. We're not allowed to be in the same room together. We're not allowed to talk or text each other. We're not supposed to really even be around each other. And if we are in the same room together, she turns down the TV so she can hear the conversations that we're having.
They say they stopped seeing each other in September, but their body language says otherwise. Even the judge felt the lies in the air.
The last time we were intimate, Your Honor, was about September.
Haven't had any more contact?
No, Your Honor.
I've been a lawyer for a lot of years. You all's body language is off.
DNA test says my heart raced like I was in that room.
It has been determined by this court. You are not.
Ms. Foster shares how motherhood at 17 changed her forever. She's raising her son alone, while Mr. Durden avoids responsibility. I felt her pain. I was left speechless too.
Ms. Foster, you say getting pregnant at the age of 17 pushed you into adulthood sooner than you expected. You claim Mr. Durden is denying your 15-month-old son, Ian Durden Jr. You are asking the court to order a paternity test so you can prove he is the father because you're struggling financially to make it on your own.
Mr. Durden says he didn't help because he has doubts. He only signed the papers because he felt forced. Honestly, I couldn't believe what I just heard.
Because I haven't helped because I don't want to get too attached to a baby that's not mine.
He has your name.
Yeah, Your Honor, I agree with that. And the reason because he has my name is because I was kind of like pushed to sign the birth certificate.
We used to talk all the time about, if we have children, like I want my son to have my name.
I want to have my son to have my name.
Foster spends over $2,000 a month just to survive. She works long hours and sees her baby less. My heart broke hearing how tired she sounded.
You say your expenses, just for you, $750. That's food, getting back and forth to work, etc. For the baby, you're spending about $1,535, $2,285, which leaves you in the negative every month, $637. So you're going under and you're going under fast.
She says they had unprotected intimacy one emotional night. She believes that's when her son was conceived. He says he doesn't even remember it.
If it's not the case, we did use condoms sometimes. Not all the time, not 100% of the time. After that, he wanted to talk. He called me to a restaurant. We sat down and we talked for him. Read some text messages that were between me and a guy that
saw a picture.
It was, we were on a break. Me and Ian were not together. He was someone who was comforting me at the time. It was not anything. We never had or anything like that.
Durden signed the papers to avoid embarrassing her. He still doubted the baby, but wanted to be a man. I'm stunned. I don't know what I'd do either.
Mr. Durden, you said you signed the birth certificate.
Yes, Your Honor.
The child's named after you. Why did you sign the birth certificate?
And it was a problem with the child being named after me. She didn't want the child to be named after me. It took her mother and I think one of her friends to tell her it's the right thing to do if the baby's his. Hospital room. I didn't really want to embarrass her in front of her mom and her sisters and stuff.
His sister says Foster was close to another guy. That guy even went to the baby's ultrasound. I gasped. How do you even respond to that?
Miss Foster and the baby, he stated that she's pregnant. I didn't even know they was having intercourse because they so young. They kids. She cheated on him with her best friend. Her best friend looked exactly like my brother.
It was the boy she took a selfie with who took her to the doctor and she didn't let me know nothing about.
That's why I have my doubts too and she cheated on him around the time she conceived the baby. So it's a possibility that he could be the father also.
The test proves Durden is...
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Durden, you are the father.
Jason entered with hope, but fear cracked his voice. Megan told him he might not be the dad. I felt punched in the stomach, too.
Mr. Deggs, you are here today hoping you are the biologic father of the defendant's 3-year-old son, Jason. You have petitioned the court for a paternity test because you claim your ex, Ms. Guerin, first led you to believe that you were Jason's dad, but when the baby was 6 months old, she confessed that you may not be the biological father.
Jason's best friend shared terrible news. His friend and his brother had both been with Megan. I froze just imagining hearing something like that.
And my best friend at the time pulled me aside and told me him and my brother had both slept with Meg.
What?
He
They both
cheated in the
slept.
very beginning of our relationship. It was even
No.
before we were a month together.
Ms. Guerin,
when we first...
I want to know, is it true?
Yes, it is true. I do admit that I did do those things. I did cheat on him with his best friend and his brother.
Jason worked hard to make Megan happy. She says another man made her feel wanted. I don't even know who to feel bad for now.
He was never home.
Worked full time to make
Okay,
sure that
and
her
then
nails
after
and
he
her
would
hair
come,
get
after
done
he would get off
to make
work,
sure
he
that she
never
was
came
happier.
home,
Just wanted to
and
make-
he left me in the apartment all the time with a roommate
I
that
was
he
working.
knew was
Full time.
attracted to me and wanted to be with me. We were drinking, and he was showing interest in me, made me feel pretty, and was giving me everything at the time that Jason was not.
Megan also cheated with Jason's brother. She felt ignored, but Jason looked crushed. Hearing that once would destroy me too.
But you slept with my brother too.
Yes.
You slept with my best friend and my
Oh.
brother. So if okay, twice the
Ms.
pain.
Guerin, how did you end up with his brother too?
His brother, I was really young at the time, and
You keep talking about how young you were. If you were so young, you shouldn't have been sleeping with everybody.
Okay.
Megan cheated again while pregnant. Jason still held her hand and cut the cord. I wanted to scream. He didn't deserve this.
When I found out I was pregnant, we had a lot of problems at that time. We had already cheated on each other. And then I met somebody else that was taking care of me, and I ended up sleeping with him while I was with Jason.
When you give birth
Yes.
to the child, he was there.
Yes, he was there.
I cut cord. I've been there since day one, taking care of this baby and this woman. Day one, Your Honor, I was there.
Jason thought he was the dad for 6 months. During a fight, Megan told the truth. My chest hurt like it was my family.
During the entire pregnancy and for 6 months after that, you allowed him to believe that he was the father of this child, knowing in your mind that maybe he wasn't.
I think we were in an argument, and out of nowhere she goes at me. You're probably not even Jason, the daddy of Jason anyway.
Her new boyfriend steps in, acting like a dad. He's not the father, but takes care of Jason. That part made me clench my jaw hard.
I do things that a father is supposed to do. I never try and take the place of his biological father because I'm not his biological father.
And what is it that you do for the child?
I take care of him. When Megan's working, if I have the day off, then of course I'm taking care of him. If he needs to go to an appointment or something, make sure he gets there. It's fun to be around. Of course, he's 3-year-old. He tests your patience sometimes, but
The DNA test says Jason's.
When it comes to baby Jason Day, Mr. Day, you are not the father.
The judge calls Megan cold and cruel. She let Jason believe the baby was his. I wanted to stand and clap too.
That you would perpetrate this lie on this man during your entire pregnancy up through a delivery room. That wasn't his child. I could tell by the look on your face today. He was more nervous than you were. I'm gonna tell you what I think as a woman. Now, you sitting up there and you got a cute face, but you got ugly ways.
Mr. Rasmussen said she denied he was the father out of hate, not truth. He drove 160 miles every other weekend just to see his daughter. Felt like I could see that distance in his face.
The real reason Ms. Miller is denying you're Zaylee's father is because she hates you. You say you've been there for your daughter her entire life, and you're here today to prove you are Zaylee's father. You're not Zaylee's father.
Your Honor, I believe it's just out of pure hatred. She just doesn't want me to have visitation. Drive 160 miles every other weekend just to pick up my daughter and drop her off.
He showed payment records, explaining how even with extra fees, he still bought her clothes. He said Zaylee wore the same shirt every visit. That detail stuck with me more than I thought it would.
I have my child support payments right here, plus an additional $3 fee, plus an additional $60 annual fee just to pay my child support, plus that $3 with every check, plus another $60 every year to the state.
And that's not very much to get what she needs.
Is it enough to buy her clothes so she doesn't have to wear cut-off sweatpants and the same t-shirt every time I pick her up?
Ms. Miller said she was with another man during the month Zaylee was conceived. She said Rasmussen was in another state at the time. I didn't know who to believe after hearing that.
She was conceived in March of 2011. He wasn't even in the same state. He was in Vegas. At that time in March, I wasn't even with him. I was with somebody else because he broke up with me because he cheated on me.
I'll be the first to admit it was a mistake.
He said he got the call at work, then rushed home and jumped in his car. The snow was deep, but he drove fast and reached the hospital before anyone else. A story like that pulled something in me.
Zaylee was born, you were at a doctor's appointment, I was at home because I had to work that day. I was at my job as a cashier. I got a phone call and I answered it. They said she was going into labor. I went home, quickly changed changed my clothes, and I drove about 45 miles in Wisconsin in December, mind you, so it was about a foot of snow on the ground. I made it to that hospital in less than 35 minutes. I beat her to the hospital.
Rasmussen showed a photo of himself at age 3 next to Zaylee's. He pointed out their chins and matching dimples. I really hoped someone else in that room saw the resemblance too.
She looks exactly like I did when I was 3 years old. I have a picture of me when I was 3 and a picture of her from just the other. Believe it or not, when I was 3 years old, I had blonde hair.
And you say you see a distinct similarity.
Yes, I do.
Do you see it, Ms. Miller? You don't?
I don't.
You feel like Zaylee looks like the other gentleman you were intimate with.
The judge read the results slowly. Mr. Rasmussen was...
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Rasmussen, you are not the father. Miss Miller.
He cried in court, saying Zaylee was his reason for everything. His words were soft, but the pain behind them was loud. I couldn't stop thinking about the way his hands shook.
I am so sorry. I know this hurt you.
Thank you, Your Honor. I don't know what I'm gonna do. She's my whole world. Everything I do is for her. She was the reason I went to work every day.
I know you have a bond with her.
I feel like my whole world is in ruins now.
Judge Lake told Ms. Miller that Zaylee deserved to know the truth. She said this story would one day shape her whole life. That warning hit me deeper than I expected.
Your child deserves to know who her father is. Whether or not that man wants to be in her life, physically present and participate. He does have a legal obligation. She'll one day ask, where's my father? Every action you take from this point will write the story that you will later have to tell. I wish you the best of luck. We have counseling for you. Court is adjourned.
Ms. McBirth stood up with fire in her eyes and started throwing insults like knives. She called the child's mother trash, trouble, and a trifler without blinking. I felt the air in the room turn heavy.
This woman is trouble. She is trouble with a capital T. She, as a matter of fact, I call her the 3 T's. Trash, trouble, and trifling. That's what she is. The little boy looks nothing like my son or any member of my family at all. Can I show it? Can I?
Absolutely, ma'am. What did you bring?
She pulled out a photo like it was evidence of a crime and held it high. She said the baby was white as snow and could never be her grandchild. I couldn't move after hearing that.
A photo of your son and the child in question?
Right.
And you say the child looks nothing like your son?
That baby white as snow. There's no way that could be my grandchild or my son's baby. He has no features like none of us. Nobody in my family look like that.
And just by looking at this child, you've determined and said to yourself, I do not believe that's my grandchild.
That can't happen. There's no way.
She yelled that she was tired of women dropping off babies like they were packages. Her voice was loud, full of years of pain and stress. It made my chest feel tight just watching her.
I'm sick of all these little hookers trying to say my son is the daddy. I'm sick of it. I get babies dropped off here, dropped off there. I'm sick of it.
But
it stops today, because that baby is not my son.
Here's the thing that she does.
It is, sorry.
That's a lie.
No,
that's
it's
a
not.
lie.
Well, she's a liar because you just had a wildfire that got shut down by the police station last week.
Hello.
Ma'am.
Yeah.
The judge showed a sweet photo of the father kissing the baby on the cheek. Ms. McBirth looked at it and shouted that it made her want to throw up. I didn't know what to think.
Like your son is kissing the baby. It makes you want to throw
It makes me want
up.
to throw up. 'Cause it's a
Why?
lie.
For your son to be kissing an innocent child?
Because it's not his.
It doesn't matter, really, if he's showing the child love.
It's not his.
Your brother is sleeping with her and not using protection. Couldn't he possibly be Elijah's father?
You know
No,
what?
not in this case.
Like the
No,
old saying goes,
no.
mama's babies, papa's maybe.
Mr. Hughes admitted he heard the baby call other men daddy more than once. His voice was low and his eyes looked full of doubt. It left me frozen in place.
Mr. Hughes, have you ever heard Elijah call somebody else
A
daddy?
few times. She was with, just like the last guy she was with, I heard him call him daddy. He's nowhere near my complexion. He looks dirty for real.
Tell the truth, son.
But,
Tell the truth.
She throws a lot of doubts in the situation, you know what I'm saying? I know she was with another biracial dude before she was with me.
Like
so.
3 months before, and I was 5 weeks pregnant when we found out I was pregnant.
Yeah, you get around, don't you?
When the judge said Mr. Hughes is
Pertaining to 2-year-old Elijah Jackson, and whether Mr. Hughes is the father. Mr. Hughes, you are Elijah's father.
The judge said one day the child will ask why his family didn't want him. She warned they would regret this moment for the rest of their lives. It made me want to cry.
It's Mr. Hughes' son. And everything you're saying right now, believe me, you will regret.
I hope I do.
No. I hope
I
you
do.
will.
Never had.
You will.
You
will.
Never had.
It's not becoming and it's not necessary.
You're right.
The baby didn't walk into this world on his
right.
own, talking about people's bridge, no bridge, hair, no hair.
Alicia froze when she heard Ken, the man who raised her, might not be her real father. Her mother confessed she had been with multiple men when Alicia was conceived. Could anyone stay calm after hearing something like that?
Miss Ferguson, you've brought your mother to court today because you were recently shocked to learn that Ken Ferguson, who raised you your entire life, may not be your biological father. You have petitioned the court for a paternity test on Mr. Ferguson, whom we'll hear from in a moment.
Tears filled Alicia's eyes as she explained how her mom ignored her and her sister. She said they were only needed when their mother had no one else. Felt like someone punched me in the chest just hearing it.
My mom goes through crazy moments and acts like her family never is there for her. Acts like her 2 daughters are never the only ones that just want her attention and to talk to her and be there for her. So she was treating us like crap. She was acting like we never are there for her. She wouldn't talk to us. She would only talk to her guy friends and her other friends, and not even the husband.
Diana stood up and walked out after being called out for always running from the truth. Her daughter begged her to stay and talk, but she was already gone. Watching that happen made my stomach twist.
Do you understand why I think he could not be my father?
No,
you
I
know
don't.
what I put
Knowing
you
that
through?
I don't even know who my own dad is. Okay, there. Let's put that out there.
I understand. You just always make people feel bad for you, doesn't she? She just always does that.
You know what?
She's about to
But
do
Miss
it. No,
Munsell-
no. See, this is what you do. You always walk
Yeah.
away. You never can talk to me.
Alicia admitted she cheated in every relationship because she thought it was normal. She said her mom's behavior taught her love meant lies and betrayal. That confession hit me harder than I ever expected.
I thought cheating was okay. I cheated on every person I was with until today. And the person I'm with today can't stand my mom. She thinks I'm gonna, yes, I am gay, by the way. I came out to my mom. That's the only thing she accepted me with.
And she did support you.
That's the only thing she's ever supported me with.
Ken revealed he doubted Alicia's father from the beginning. He saw strange cars at their home and heard rumors about Diana being with other men. My heart sank listening to the pain in his voice.
Within like 2 weeks, my sister started calling me saying, hey, there's cars down at the house, like every other day. Could be a guy or 2 guys and a lot of guys before she got pregnant while we lived together. Crushed me to know that she cheated on me because she was the only one that I slept with, you know, and married her. Now to find out that she slept with other guys before we was married, it's just...
Diana returned to court but offered no apology, only anger. She told Alicia there was nothing left to fix between them. Honestly, I didn't know whether to cry or scream at that moment.
I'm not a perfect mom. I never tried to be. I never, I did what I could do.
So,
but I love you, and I never once regretted having you.
So, Ms. Munsell.
But that's all that I came here for, was for you to find out.
I asked you if you wanted to repair our relationship, and you said you did. You've always wanted to repair our relationship.
Yeah,
Why are you
I
gonna
did it
act
until
like
you
that?
stand there and degrade me like you have been.
Now it's time for the results.
Mr. Ferguson, you are her father.
The judge said Diana walked away because she couldn't face what she had done. She begged Alicia to leave the door open for forgiveness. Hearing that, I found myself hoping they'd get a second chance.
She keeps walking out those doors because she doesn't want to face the truth. Because facing the truth means she has owned and recognized not just what she's done to herself, but what she's done to you. I don't want you to give up on your mom just yet. Maybe you can begin to forgive her for those mistakes she's made, and I'm hoping she'll begin to forgive herself.
Ms. Hooker says she's tired of caring what people think of her baby. She feels like everyone looks at her like she doesn't belong, like she's something dirty. Honestly, it made my chest tighten.
How have you been affected by Ms. Baker's doubts about Kanaya's paternity?
I'm just sad sometimes. I try to deal with it now. Like, I really don't care no more. That's how I feel. I don't care anymore. I don't care who feel nothing about my baby. I don't care. It just seemed like everybody else looking upside my head like I'm an animal or something. Like, every time I'm sitting down doing something, they looking at me like I'm just outcast of the group. She looked like me, so why is a problem? That's why I just say I don't care about nothing.
Her mother speaks up and defends her daughter with fire in her voice. She says the real hurt came from the family, not Ms. Baker. Felt like the air in the room got heavy.
It's not that she don't care. Her feelings been hurt, so she hold her guard up. It's not Miss Baker who denies Kenaya. It's her family who makes my daughter. She was too fat to be his baby. She fat like them. And something to say about my grandbaby. My daughter's feelings have been hurt. It's always talk about her like she this tramp. And I'm like, enough.
Ms. Baker reveals her son was shot and died only days after the baby was born. The room falls into silence as the weight of it sinks in. That part hit harder than expected.
May I ask what happened to Keyshawn?
He was shot on a Sunday and he died that Friday.
I'm so very sorry.
He just told me to promise him that.
She swears to add her baby's name to the obituary if the test proves it's Keyshawn's. Her voice shakes but stands tall. That promise stayed with me long after.
I have already told them if it comes back saying Kenaya belongs to Keyshawn, I'm going directly back to the funeral home and get a set of obituaries made. So when this baby grow up and she read her dad's obituary, there's her name.
The judge announces the results.
It has been determined by this court. The percentage of relatedness between Ms. Baker, Mr. Abraham, and Kenaya Abraham is 0%.
And this is why right here.
Ms. Baker.
Hooker screams, storms out, heartbroken and shaking. Her voice echoes as she disappears. That sound still plays in my head.
Because you know you slapped somebody else.
Miss Hooker. Miss Hooker. No.
Hey, go in there. Go in there. Go in there. You do too much. I don't care because you always need to go in there.
Jason stood frozen as he heard the worst news imaginable. His best friend and his own brother had both slept with the woman he loved. He remembered it clearly, right as he was moving their last box. That hit me like a brick to the chest.
Best friend at the time pulled me aside and told me him and my brother had both slept with me.
What?
I was hurt.
They both.
Your
Both.
Honor, he
They both
cheated in the
slept.
very beginning of our relationship. It was even
No.
before we were months. Yes, it is true. I do admit that I did do those. I did cheat on him with his best friend and his brother.
She admitted the truth without blinking. She had been with the brother too, saying Jason didn't give her love or attention. She said it felt like she didn't matter to him anymore. Can't believe she said it like it was nothing.
But you slept with my brother too.
Yes.
You slept with my best friend and my brother.
His brother, I was really young at the time. And
You keep talking about how young you were. If you were so young, you shouldn't sleeping with everybody.
Okay.
How did you end up sleeping with his brother?
It was an attraction. He was paying me the attention that Jason was not.
Even while pregnant, she found comfort in another man who treated her better. She said she slept with him, even though she was still with Jason, and kept it secret. The way she said it made my stomach twist.
When I found out I was pregnant, we had a lot of problems at that time. We had already cheated on each other. And then I met somebody else that was taking care of me. I ended up sleeping with him while I was with Jason.
When you give birth
Yes.
to the child, he was there.
Yes,
I was
he was there.
I cut forward. I've been there since day one, taking care of baby and this woman. Day one, Your Honor, I was there.
One night, during a fight, she shouted that Jason might not be the father. He said it broke him completely, and the tears came fast. My heart cracked when I saw his face.
I think we were in an argument, and out of nowhere she throws at me, "You're probably not even the daddy of Jason anyway." I crumbled right there, started crying.
I would never
What?
do that.
You told me after this long that I'm not daddy and we're in an argument? What is it? Am I the dad or am I not? How you gonna break my heart like that? I love that little boy, and I know what it's like not having a dad there.
Jason's close friend took the stand and shared how Megan sent selfish messages, demanding money. She said the relationship got messy the moment they started dating. Every word from that friend felt like a warning I should never ignore.
The minute we started dating, all the problems came. Megan would blow up his phone. She texted him and was like, "Better keep your job, honey, because all I want is your money."
I never,
and she
ever,
was,
ever,
it was
ever
bad.
said
And she
that.
was like, "You know, all I want is your money. All you
I
need
made
to do
my
is go
own
to
money,
work."
honey.
And you saw the text.
Megan did not like me from the gate.
Didn't know
I don't
her.
know. I really don't. I never had a run-in with her. I wasn't
How can
nasty
I not
towards
like
her.
somebody
and
I
it was
didn't know?
Megan's new boyfriend spoke with calm and said he never tried to replace the real dad. He talked about caring for Jason, showing up, and helping when needed. Something about the way he spoke stayed with me.
I do things that a father is supposed to do. I
Like-
never try and take the place of his biological father because I'm not his biological father.
And what is it that you do for the child?
I take care of him when Megan's working. If I have the day off, then of course I'm taking care of him. If he needs to go to an appointment or something, make sure he gets there. It's fun to be around. Of course, he's a 3-year-old. He tests your patience sometimes, but I mean,
I know all about that.
Judge Lake opened the envelope and read the truth. Jason was
When it comes to baby Jason Deggs, Mr. Deggs, you are not the father.
Judge Lake stared at Megan and let her have it. She spoke with fire, saying Megan lied through the entire pregnancy and played with a man's heart. Every word made me want to shout, "Yes, exactly!"
I am disgusted that you would perpetrate this lie on this man during your entire pregnancy up through a delivery room. That wasn't his child. I could tell by the look on your, he was more nervous than you were. Sometimes I have to get up and give what I think, but right now, you sitting up there and you got a cute face, but you got ugly ways.
Jason stood in front of the judge, eyes full of tears, voice shaking. He said Jason was his whole world, and now he didn't know how to let go. That moment is burned in my memory forever.
How am I supposed to say goodbye to him now? I don't know how I'm going to say goodbye to him. That's all I've ever known to be my child. What am I going to do now? I live for him. I've been living for him.
Listen. Everything you've done thus far has been the right thing.
That's all I've been trying to do was the right thing for him.
The man yelled that the kids weren't his and walked out the door like it meant nothing. His words cut deep, louder than any fight. My chest tightened the second I realized what he had just said.
A lot of noise in my mom's bedroom. He coming out the room, going to the kitchen saying, well, those ain't my kids anyway.
Your mother made a comment that really didn't sit too well with me, and it hurt me. You guys didn't hear the whole comment.
You know I was just mad. You know I was mad.
While playing games with his friends, the brother heard the same thing and sat frozen. Everything in the room stopped when those words hit. That silence felt like it echoed inside me too.
Sitting in the living room playing video games with my friends, I overheard what he said.
So you overheard this as well?
Yes, I did. Me and my friends actually, and I was just sitting there like
we was having a get together. Everybody was at the house.
Their mother, cornered by questions, said she wasn't sure who the real father was. She mentioned a name everyone had whispered for years. That kind of uncertainty left me feeling completely lost.
I don't know who's the father. I just don't know. I don't know.
So explain the different last names. Why my name is Razor, his name is Hunt, his name is Jacob, and your name is Hammonds.
Where I get Hunt from?
You say his name came from grandma. He been there for everything.
Precious,
I'm getting married in January. He's supposed to walk me down this aisle.
She admitted she had been with Uncle Tommy, the same man they grew up around. The kids started, confused and hurt. That truth twisted my stomach in a way I didn't expect.
Did you have a relationship with Miss Hammonds?
You pulled this your brother.
Yes, we had a physical relationship. It wasn't a relationship.
You pulled that your brother.
Miss Hammonds, were you intimate with Mr. Farmer? Is what he's saying true?
That's Uncle Tommy. That's just nasty. That is not my father. No,
There's a possibility I could be your father.
Tommy appeared on video and confirmed the relationship wasn't love, just physical. The room felt colder as the kids tried to make sense of it. It felt like something cracked inside me watching their faces.
Brother.
Y'all saying y'all brothers and sisters every day.
That's not my sister. She's not my sister.
Well, we established
related.
that you all refer to each other possibly as brother and sister, like play brother. You're not related biologically. You're not real sister and brother.
The judge read the results. Tommy was not the father. Precious screamed with relief and dropped into her seat. That moment hit like sunlight after days of darkness.
As it pertains to 26-year-old Precious Razor, you are not her father.
Oh my God!
The joy vanished when the next result said Mr. Jacobs wasn't her father either. Precious broke down, shaking with sobs as the truth landed hard. I could barely watch her fall apart like that.
As it pertains to 26-year-old Precious Razor, Mr. Jacobs, you are not her father.
The test showed Mr. Jacobs was...
Mr. Jacob, you are not Hector's father. When I said you go across that aisle and hug your daughter, the first thing you did was look at your wife for permission. I didn't miss that.
Amen by that. Amen
And I
by
want
that.
to make sure we're clear if no one's let you know. You don't need permission to love your child.
Amen.
Court session starts, and Judge Lake jumps right into it, addressing everyone. Things are just getting warmed up, and you won't believe what comes next.
Ms. Jackson, you've dragged your ex-boyfriend to court to prove he fathered your 26-year-old daughter, Tanika. You claim he's denied her since birth because you were caught in a love triangle with him and his wife.
It's about to get real messy. Ms. Jackson says Mr. Brown owes her a whopping $2,624 in child support. Sparks are already flying, and this is just the start. Stay tuned for more shouting.
1 week ago, you reopened your child support case in which you state Mr. Brown owes you $20,624.08.
That's yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Brown, you and your wife claim you can't be the father because you were on the road for 3 months during the time of conception.
That's true, Your Honor.
You've basically taken care of your daughter alone.
Yes.
Oh, here we go. Ms. Jackson says she met Mr. Brown at a club where he told her Drusilla was just a friend. Later that night, they end up at an apartment. And who barges in? You guessed it, Drusilla. Ms. Jackson had no clue this was going to be drama central, and you'll never believe what's coming up.
I met him at the club, and we started talking, we started dancing. He told me he'll be back. When he left with his wife, Miss Brown, I asked him who she was. He told me if she was just a friend friend. So he came back to the club, and then we went to the apartment. We was in the back of the room. She came in the door. She said, come on out, let me talk to you. I didn't know that he was dating her because he told me they had broke up.
Drusilla is not letting this go. She catches Mr. Brown and Ms. Jackson together again, this time in a club bathroom. Drusilla let Ms. Jackson go, kept her eyes on her man, and just when you think it can't get any crazier, it totally does.
He wasn't in the club. I said, well, there was one place he could be because his car was still outside. So I knocked on the door of the bathroom. I said, Dwight, I know you're in there. I said, open this door. He cracked it a little bit. So when I pushed it open, she in there, done him in the bathroom. But I told her, I said, you can go.
So you find him in the club in the bathroom?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, this part is like something out of a sitcom. Drusilla comes home and hears noises coming from her closet. You can just feel Drusilla's frustration as she realizes Mr. Brown is still fooling around. And if you thought this was wild, there's a lot more coming.
When I got to my apartment, I unlocked the door with the key. So at that point, I heard my closet door slide open. When I got inside, I went right to the closet, opened the door. She standing up there naked, had my man in my house. So even, he kept fooling around with her, like you say, going back and forth. So
you knew that he kept an affair going with her?
Yeah, off and on, yes.
Mr. Brown finally admits he's been with both women at the same time, unprotected, but he's also throwing shade, saying he saw Ms. Jackson with another man, so he doubts he's the dad. This love triangle is a total mess, and it just keeps getting messier as they go deeper into the story.
Were you sleeping with both of them without protection?
Yes.
So why do you deny that Tanika is your daughter if you know you've been with this woman over a span of time?
I've seen too many things happen. Like one morning, I thought she was at work. Come to find out, she was out with another man.
Things are getting juicy. Ms. Jackson presents a birth certificate saying Mr. Brown is Nika's dad, and Drusilla and Mr. Brown are not having it. This isn't just a paternity case. It's turning into a full-blown mystery, and everyone's hanging on to see what'll pop up next.
I have proof that Mr. Brown signed my birth certificate.
I'd like to see that.
That's a birth certificate. That's a fake, Your Honor. That is a fraud. Her mama been lying to her.
So wait, on this birth certificate, it does say Dwight Stanley Brown.
He named me and he spelled the name.
He was with me during the time that birth certificate.
My name and named me.
Now, I do not see a signature on this birth certificate,
because he did not sign it.
Drusilla is spilling more tea. She says she tried for years to get Ms. Jackson to agree to a DNA test, but Ms. Jackson always dodged it. It's a total blame game, and Drusilla's got receipts, so you know it's about to get even spicier.
She don't ever keep calling me. That's an insult about DNA testing. Every time we ask for something. Same thing in 1992. Okay, then we went to Ms. Jackson again. Went up to the lab again to get a DNA testing. I paid my money. My husband didn't pay child support. I did. I took care of her.
That's true.
This story is so
dramatic.
Judge Lake points out the irony in Drusilla's complaints, saying, it's the same lady in your closet. Drusilla tries to act like the problem is solved, but Judge Lake reminds her they're here to see if Mr. Brown is really Tanika's dad. Hold on tight because the moment of truth is about to drop.
It's the same lady that's in your closet, same lady that's behind the bathroom door.
Yeah.
It's the same lady. But that doesn't mean that Tanika is not your husband's biological
That's all I ever wanted to know, Your Honor. Well, that's his daughter.
That's why we're here.
Yes, ma'am.
Round the envelope, please.
Yes, ma'am.
This is it, the big reveal. Judge Lake opens the DNA results, and yes, Mr. Brown is confirmed to be Tanika's dad. Emotions are flying everywhere, but don't leave yet. There's still one more twist.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Brown, you are her father.
Jesus.
This last bit is unbelievable. Judge Lake asks Mr. Brown to hug his daughter, and he actually looks over at his wife to check if it's okay first. With that, the courtroom wraps up, but Judge Lake leaves everyone with some wise words on family, forgiveness, and facing the truth.
When I said you go across that aisle and hug your daughter, the first thing you did was look at your wife for permission. I didn't miss that.
Amen by that. Amen
and I
by
want
that.
to make sure we're clear if no one's let you know. You don't need permission to love your child.
Amen. That's right.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, Folds. Things get wild right from the start. Miss Jackson tells everyone she's here to confront her husband's mistress and prove this baby isn't his. You can already feel the tension, and we're only getting started.
Miss Jackson, you say you're here?
The mistress stands her ground and says she knows the baby is Mr. Jackson's. With the audience hanging on every word, you can tell this show tea on how she found out about the affair. And wow, it's juicy. Trust me, this argument is only getting messier. If you thought this story couldn't get more awkward, wait until you hear how Mr. Jackson introduced his wife. Miss Jackson claps back, pointing finding out there's a big difference in surprising us, she says she spent nearly $900 on stuff for the baby, even though she doubts the baby is her husband's.
Miss Lipscomb, when you had the baby, was he at the hospital? Did he cut the cord?
He didn't cut the cord, but he was there.
Acknowledged paternity.
Yeah.
Your Honor, that's why the baby was placed on my benefit.
Things are cooling down. Miss Jackson drops a big surprise. She's pregnant. Now, the room is buzzing, and everyone's looking at Miss Lipscomb, wondering how she'll respond to this news. Isn't impressed Arnold is the father of her kid and wants him to pay up for childcare. And just wait, because this family feud is only getting started.
Ms. McKeever, you say you have no doubt that Mr. Arnold is your 3-year-old son Kenneth's biological father.
Yes, Your Honor.
You've requested
crazier by the minute.
Mr. Arnold, you and your aunt, Ms. Henderson, say that Ms. McKeever admitted to sleeping with 2 other men, but now you claim you're the one who's been put on child support for a boy who's definitely not yours.
Yes, Your Honor.
Judge Lake isn't having any of it, and
Standing that she's responsible for paying you back this month.
And that is, yes.
get ready for a bombshell. Mr. Arnold's aunt, Ms. Henderson, says there's a mystery guy that might be the real father, not her nephew. This whole maybe another dad twist really shakes things up, but the tea is still brewing.
Everything is not being said. There was another young man involved who was supposed to be these kids' dad. 2 years, now all of a sudden, my nephew is being blamed for these kids. Because if they was, why would you name another man saying that they was the dad?
Who is this young man? Do you know?
I don't know him personally.
Who is
No,
this
I
other
don't.
young man, Ms. McKeever?
The other young man that I was with, he ended up going away.
Ms. McKeever dives into the timeline of her romantic encounters, and let's just say it's complicated. Judge Lake looks like
that the window of conception was about 24th of December to the 31st.
Yes.
You say you were intimate with the
and the DNA test came back, it said 0%. So what I did was...
Do you have any evidence of that test?
and it's clear Mr. Arnold needs to get it together before it's too late.
So now you're here. Even if it's determined that you're not this child's biological father today, that does not change the legal issue you're faced with, is that you have been named this child's father by default for failure to show up. And then go from there, and there's no guarantee. Do you understand this?
Yes, Your Honor.
Here we go, the big moment everyone's been waiting for.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Arnold, you are his father.
Step up, baby. Step up.
Okay, this case is about to get messy. The courtroom kicks off with the case of Tisby versus Quarterman, where Ms. Tisby believes Mr. Quarterman is the father of her daughter, Jordan, and has been dodging a DNA test. You can already tell this one's going to be full of wild twists and turns.
Ms. Tisby, you were in love with the defendant and claim he has been ducking your request for a DNA test for your daughter, Jordan. You and your mother say he better step up and be a daddy when today's results prove what you've always known, that he is Jordan's father.
Right off the bat, Mr. Quarterman throws some serious shade. He claims Ms. Tisby only shows up to ask for money and doesn't believe he's the dad. This is just the beginning, but you can already feel the room heating up.
Mr. Quarterman, you say the plaintiff is delusional and is only trying to use you for money, and when the results reveal you are not her child's biological father, you want her out of your life for good.
Correct.
Mr. Quarterman, you say she's using you for your money?
Anytime they come around, it's about money. Yes, ma'am.
Now it gets even more awkward. They can't even agree on what their relationship was. Ms. Tisby says they were together, and he even said, "I love you," while Mr. Quarterman claims it was just a casual fling. This whole "were we or weren't we" thing has everyone scratching their heads.
I felt like we was in a relationship, because basically he was coming around the whole time. He even told me he loved me, so.
That sounds like a relationship. You
honestly,
love her, you come
I have
around
love
all
for her.
the time.
I have love for her, but not in love with her. She came about in a time in my life where, you know what I'm saying, I was kind of down and out, and me and her both was helping each other. The baby situation came about, you know, and I told her from the beginning, since it was another guy.
And then, boom! Ms. Tisby's mom takes the stand and makes things way more dramatic. Just when you think it's all cleared up, a new twist jumps in.
So wait a minute, you'd pick him up and bring him over to your house?
I bring it to him. We stayed next door to each other. We had a two-stair house. She stayed on one side of the house, and I had my own house. Basically, at night, he creeped at night, and sometimes I seen him sometimes in the daytime, but he basically was staying there at night.
Things get real emotional as Ms. Tisby talks about Jordan's birth and some truly heartbreaking stuff. Emotions are running high, and it's clear this story has layers on top of layers.
When Jordan was born, Mr. Quarterman was there or not there?
No, he wasn't. When I was pregnant, I told him everything. He came when I was pregnant, holding my stomach and everything, doing all that. But now she's not yours.
Tell me about the birth.
On the 16th of April, I had her. On the 17th, they told me to come in the hospital because my little girl passed away.
Just when you think you've heard it all, Mr. Quarterman pulls out the Facebook proof. The judge and everyone else can't believe they're looking at Facebook evidence in court. Who knows what's next?
But she had posted some things online, asking, you know, I guess Facebook about am I the father or not.
What are you submitting to the court, sir?
I guess a Facebook post, she was asking Facebook, do I look like the child or, you know, whatever the case.
It's a split screen of baby Jordan.
Yes, ma'am.
And you. And she writes, do she look like him, yeah or nah?
For us to be in a relationship and everything like that, that is a booking photo for when I got arrested.
Get ready for the they totally look alike argument as Ms. Tisby's mom brings out baby photos. The courtroom's buzzing, and everyone's waiting to see if this who looks like who thing will actually help.
What evidence did you bring, ma'am? Let me see.
2 baby pictures. And one thing about it, Your Honor, let me speak. I understand what he trying to say, but if you lay with somebody, you got to pay the cost. Y'all laid together, y'all stayed together, y'all been together. You could deny what you want to deny, but like I said, now when this baby come out to be yours.
Now things go from heated to about to explode as everyone argues. It's getting wild in here, and all eyes are on Judge Lake to see what she'll say next.
And that's why your daughter just handed up this particular evidence. The first picture is a picture of Mr. Quarterman as a baby, and then the next picture is a picture of Jordan. You feel like they look exactly alike.
Yes, ma'am.
And you say even his family members say.
Yes, both his mother. Yep. His mother said it. You see that little girl there? That's a princess. She everything to me.
And here it is, the big moment. Judge Lake opens the DNA results and drops the bomb.
It has been determined by this court, Mr. Quarterman, you are not the father.
What? Shantina.
All right, this story is wild from the jump. Mr. Clark is suing Ms. Bailey to get a DNA test to see if he's the dad of her baby, Vanique, and wants $1,560 for some clothes she allegedly torched. This courtroom is about to get messy, folks, and we're just getting started.
Mr. Clark, you were suing the defendant for a DNA test and for $1,560 for damages you claim she caused to your property because you deny paternity of her 2-month-old daughter, Vanique. You say today you will prove you are not Vanique's father.
Yes, Your Honor.
Yep, you read that right. Ms. Bailey straight up admits to burning his clothes. She says she was 7 months pregnant, mad as a hornet, and couldn't handle that he left her for someone else. So she decided his clothes needed to go up in flames. But this bonfire is just the start of the drama.
Ms. Bailey, you say you were on fire when Mr. Clark left you for another woman while pregnant with his child.
Yes, I was.
You are 100% certain he is your daughter's father. Additionally, you are countersuing Mr. Clark for $300 for half of Vanique's child care expenses over the last 2 months.
If you thought this was just a breakup, Mr. Clark's cancer diagnosis takes this story to a whole other level. They're hanging on to that maybe with all they got, but we all know there's more drama coming.
During this relationship, started growing up big, like it was a big tumor on the side of his neck. And so we went to the hospital, he found out he had cancer. He started his chemo sessions and everything, but before then...
And you all were together when this happened?
Yes. They said, are you guys interested in having children? And we both no. And they was like, well, there's an 80% chance that he can't have children during his chemo.
So you know I can't have kids.
But there's still that 20% that he can.
Mr. Clark's doubts just keep getting louder, thanks to both science and his new girlfriend whispering in his ear. Oh, the plot thickens, and he's definitely not done talking.
Your doubt stems from the fact that as you're undergoing chemotherapy, you've been informed by your doc that this would affect your ability, possibly.
Yes.
And that's why they suggested to you freeze some of your sperm, because they knew that there was a chance that this treatment could affect your chances of having children.
Yes, ma'am.
You proceeded with your treatment.
Here comes the science. They even brought in a doctor to clear things up, and things got even more confusing. Looks like the science talk didn't help, and now everyone's looking around like, what now?
It depends on the type of chemo, the dose, the age of the patient. However, if you ask for general statistics, it is about 77%.
How old were you at the time you were receiving the treatment, Mr. Clark?
I started receiving treatments at the age of 26.
Well, as you can see, Ms. Bailey is focused on that 20% chance.
Unfortunately, it only takes 1 sperm.
Ms. Bailey gets super emotional here, hoping Vanique can have a dad, especially since she grew up without one herself. It's a tearjerker moment, but we all know Mr. Clark still got doubts, and it's about to get real again.
Brings you to tears when you see your baby?
Yes.
Why?
She just needs a father.
And you really want that for her?
Yes.
I want you to take me to the birth.
He was there. He cut the umbilical cord and everything.
Really? So you were
Now you're
present
from
for the
there.
birth, Mr. Clark?
Yeah, I was there. She was too.
Really? Did you sign the birth certificate?
No, I was gonna sign that birth certificate, and she gave the baby my grandma's name and my last name.
Now it's money time. Ms. Bailey pulls out receipts showing she spent $600 on diapers, wipes, and formula in just 2 months, and she wants Mr. Clark to pay up. But trust me, that's far from the last argument we're gonna hear.
You've submitted receipts to the court of the expenses you've incurred thus far.
Yes.
As it relates to baby Vanique. About $50 a week on diapers, formula, and wipe.
I bought her
totaling
car,
about
I bought her car
$600.
seat, everything she needed.
Everything you paid for yourself. And Mr. Clark, you admittedly have not contributed anything.
No, ma'am.
And that's why your countersuit is for $300, half of $600.
Yes.
Now, Judge Lake doesn't mess around when it comes to burned clothes. He's got no problem telling Ms. Bailey she owes Mr. Clark $1,560 for turning his wardrobe into ashes. Ms. Bailey owes the money, but don't worry, the biggest shock is still on the way.
So, because you willfully destroyed his property, I have to award him the $1,560 from his clothing that you destroyed. Judgment for the plaintiff. Moving forward, I think we're ready for the results.
Burn no clothes no more.
You all done?
Yes.
A lot of unfinished business here. I hope you taking note, Miss Hudson. You quiet over there. Just poke, both of you, back and forth. You can't even get the result.
Here comes the moment we've all been waiting for. DNA results are in, and it's a jaw dropper.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Clark, you are not the father.
I wanted him to be the father. I wanted him to be there.
All right, folks, you won't believe what's about to go down in this courtroom. Judge Lake starts things off, introducing the case of Martin v. Pinner. Ms. Martin admits she made a big-time mistake around the time she got pregnant with her daughter, Royal Blue. Things are just heating up, and it's only the beginning.
Ms. Martin, you admit to making a huge mistake around the time you conceived your daughter, Royal Blue. You claim that one moment of weakness will cost you your fiancé if you cannot prove today that he fathered your child.
This relationship sounds like it's hanging by a thread. Ms. Martin shares that things are so bad that Mr. Pinner has moved out of the bedroom and now lives in the living room. The tension between these two is wild, and you can just tell there's more drama on the way.
Well, at this point, me and Romeo have no relationship because of the paternity of our daughter. I made one mistake back in the past that he knew about, and now he's claiming that he knows nothing about it.
The relationship is in turmoil.
Yes, he completely moved out of the bedroom. Like, he lives in my living room.
Oh, and here's where Mr. Pinner's side of the story kicks in. And trust me, it's not pretty. His trust issues are real, and this whole thing is starting to sound like a soap opera.
She says that she let me know right away, but it was a month later after she found out that she was pregnant. No, that's true. You know, when you feel like that is why would I fake it and just, be laying in the bed with somebody that's already lied to me, then I'd be dishonest to the relationship.
But you were laying in there before.
You were dishonest with me in the beginning, and you're dishonest with me now. The reason why I'm not sleeping in the bedroom is because I'm not sure if Royal is mine or not.
Now, Ms. Martin tries to explain her side, and it's, well, messy. Their stories do not match up, and the arguments are getting louder.
I'm going to tell her about the mistake. At the point in time, Romeo was doing him, as we say, partying, not coming home. I completely moved to Wisconsin with him. I even said, if I come up here for you, I'm about you, we're gonna do our family thing. And when I got up there, it went totally left. He left me in the home by myself. It'd be days at a time before I saw Romeo.
Just when you think you've got the story straight, Mr. Pinner drops his version of the truth, and it's totally different. These two can't agree on anything, and it's all going off the rails.
So it's your testimony, Mr. Pinner, that she didn't tell you the day after the party. She told you 1 month after she was already pregnant.
Exactly, Your Honor. She said, well, I have something to tell you. When I had that party, I woke up the next morning. I'm pretty sure I had sex, but I don't know who it is. Like I said, that's very irresponsible. To this day, I don't even know the person's name,
I didn't wait a month. I told you the next day. I was honest from the jump.
So, Ms. Martin?
Hold on, because now they're bringing up all their issues from way back. Mr. Pinner claims Ms. Martin changed after having their first child, started partying more. Judge Lake points out they've both been playing the blame game, and it's seriously messy. Like, how do these two even live together?
After she had our oldest daughter, she changed completely. I guess she felt like she missed something. She started to go out partying, kicking it. In clubs. We got a child. You leaving me here with the child. I work and go to work and try to take care of my family and provide.
You are turning this whole around.
I have made my
This
mistakes. Excuse me. I have had made my mistake. But at the same point in time, we were supposed to work with it.
Judge Lake isn't holding back here, giving some advice on why tit for tat never works out. The judge isn't sugarcoating anything, and you can feel the tension rising.
She moves to a different state, following behind you. When she gets there, you still out and about doing things. He out hanging out. He don't want to come home. I'll start partying. We hear this too much. Now, thing I tell women all the time, we lose the tit for tat every time because you lose your senses and you do something stupid and you get pregnant.
Yes, ma'am.
And here we go. Ms. Martin reveals she actually left Mr. Pinner during her pregnancy because things got so bad. Their arguments are all over the place, and it's hard to know who to believe at this point.
He participated for about 3 or 4 months.
That's not true, Your Honor.
He went to doctor's appointments with me, Your Honor,
yes, I did.
until I decided one morning I walked because he didn't come home. I packed everything I owned in that house and I went home. And it took him 24 hours to even realize it took all I had to pack up my daughter, me being pregnant, and all my clothes to go home, to leave this man.
Judge Lake takes a second to talk to Ms. Martin, who's clearly feeling guilty, and it's kind of intense. She says she regrets her mistakes and just wants her family back. This moment gets pretty real, and it makes you wonder if there's any hope for them.
Like I said, Ms. Martin, we never win this game of tit for tat. And I can see how hurt you are, because I'm sure when you moved and followed him to Wisconsin, this is not what you had in your mind.
No, ma'am.
And to be honest with you, Mr. Pinner, I'm sure this is not why you asked her to come. This is not what you planned either.
No, it wasn't.
This is not what you all had in your mind. And I can see, Ms. Martin, you are not proud of what you did. This is not who you are.
Judge Lake asks the million-dollar question if Royal Blue is his daughter. Would Mr. Pinner actually stay? He says he would, but he needs to let go of the past. Judge Lake tells him he can't keep bringing up the party if they're going to move forward, or they'll be back in court soon. This is the moment of truth. They're about to find out if he's really Royal Blue's dad.
If Royal Blue is your biological daughter, can you unpack that bag?
Yes, that's exactly what I want to do.
I'm a straight shooter in here now. When you unpack that bag, you have to unpack it with an intention to let go of the baggage of the past.
Yes, sir.
Now, you just can't unpack the bag and then on a random Wednesday just decide you're gonna get mad again because she had that party.
I understand what you're saying, Your Honor.
Or we'll be back here again.
All right, here we go. The big reveal.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Pinner, you are the father.
Thank God.
She was still sleeping with this man after Hannah was born. Your Honor, matter
Is
of fact,
that true, Ms. Zachary?
Yes, I was. Because we decided that we wasn't
just
gonna
went
be
on-
together.
for about
We've
a
been
month.
on and
We
off
just
for
been on
5
break for about a
years.
month. And we were on a break for a month. She just slept with him 2 weeks ago in my bed. She didn't go to his house. She didn't go to a hotel. It was the bed that we
Really?
shared.
She came home, Yana. She sat next to me. I'm like, what's going on? I'm like, I recognize that smell. I haven't had it in a while, but I recognize it. I said, you smell like sack. I don't know what you at work.
I'm doing that, but I'm at work all day, but that's how I come home smelling,
Yeah,
really?
sometimes you tell me you been at
We're
work
not
at-
gonna say how you smell when you come home from work.
Judge Lake introduces Ms. Cousin and her mom, who dragged Mr. Bell into court, saying he's the dad of her 7-month-old baby, Taquan. Mr. Bell fires back, saying he's not the dad and insists it's all a plot to mess up his relationship.
Miss Cousin, you and your mother say you had no choice to drag the defendant, Mr. Bell, into court today because you're fed up with his lies. He denies being the father of your 7-month-old son, Taquan, and has even gone to the extreme by blocking all contact with you.
Ms. Cousin's mom doesn't hold back and launches into a full-on roast of Mr. Bell, calling him a 2-timing liar. With all this shade flying, Judge Lake turns her attention to Mr. Bell for his side of the story.
Fed up with his lies because he a 2-timing liar. He told my daughter that he was single, that he was not in a relationship because I seen his picture on her phone. When she started being with him, I seen how her attitude changed. I knew then that she was pregnant. I met you at a relative house.
Things go up a notch as Ms. Cousin's mom spills the tea about receipts she found for lunches her daughter bought for Mr. Bell. Judge Lake raises her eyebrows at Mr. Bell, ready to hear what he has to say about these lunch dates.
A whole weekend, yeah. And then not only that, y'all had lunch together.
Can she let her daughter talk?
She wasn't there. I go in her room. I found receipts with 2 combos on it. You know, at the end of the day.
2 combos
meal for
lunch.
If she paying for it, of course I'm gonna take the food. She paying for it.
Yeah, and y'all in a relationship.
What you mean?
Destiny steps up, and wow, does she have a lot to say about how Mr. Bell used her like a walking ATM. The crowd is silent, waiting for Judge Lake's take on this bizarre relationship.
We met at this job that we was working at. When I first met him, he told me he wasn't with no one. I never slept with no one else at work. Every time I go out to get lunch, he right behind me. What you eating for lunch? Can you buy me something? Meet me downtown, tell me I cannot pay his phone bill every time I get paid.
When she should have been.
Were you paying his phone bill?
Yes.
Just when you think this story can't get wilder, Destiny's mom reveals how she and her husband have been covering all of Taquan's expenses. Judge Lake gives Mr. Bell a sharp look, clearly ready to hear his excuse.
Because me and my husband have been doing it for the last 7 months, buying milk, strollers, walkers, baby bed, car seat, everything. That take a toll on me. Destiny was on a good route, somewhere to work. Once she got that job, fell into the footstep of him. And today, I'm walking in her shoes. I've been taking care of Taquan.
Mr. Bell's response is so chill, you'd think he's talking about the weather. Judge Lake warns him to get real, reminding him that his version doesn't exactly add up. You can tell the judge is about to unleash some major truth bombs.
What was the nature of the relationship in your mind?
We met at work. I only seen her outside of work maybe twice. We was never together because I had to go home to her. I was staying with her and my kid.
Were you flirting with her at work?
Yeah.
Now it's getting juicy. Mr. Bell and Destiny go back and forth about who told him about the pregnancy first, with Mr. Bell insisting he heard it from her manager, not her. Judge Lake gives Mr. Bell a side eye that says, "I'm not buying it."
She didn't tell you, she told the manager, and the manager told you.
And once I went to her and told her that it's not mine, the first thing, I don't want no baby by you anyway.
I don't want a baby by you anyway is different from the baby is not yours. Which did she say?
Both.
Why you lying?
Just give me up, man, so I can go on my life and you go find your baby daddy, man.
And now, the plot thickens as Mr. Bell's girlfriend, Ms. King, takes the stand, talking about how she found out about Destiny. Judge Lake's about to dig even deeper into this love triangle.
He gave me her name or whatever. I searched for her on Instagram. Of course I'm gonna search. I see Cortez is her profile picture, and I see her bio. She's like, oh, I love him. That's the one for me and stuff like that. So I requested her. I didn't really think nothing of it. It looked real immature to me because they didn't have physical pictures together. I wouldn't believe that they were in a real relationship.
Destiny doesn't hold back, setting the record straight by saying she and Mr. Bell were together 3 times, unprotected. Everyone's hanging on to see what he'll say next.
We slept together 3 times, unprotected, and he know that.
Where'd you all go?
We'll go anywhere.
Where we went? Where did we go?
In the car, it don't matter.
Where did we go?
And we went
Since
to the
was
club
on
with
date.
your cousin now. You know that.
So what you're saying is you all would go out but you didn't think he was in a relationship?
No, he told me he wasn't in a relationship when I first met him.
Hold on to your popcorn, because Destiny claims the one time Mr. Bell did see Taquan, he had the nerve to ask for, you guessed it, intimacy. You can tell the judge is just waiting for Mr. Bell to slip up even more.
Now, Destiny, you said he came to see the baby 1 time.
Yes,
but when he came to see the baby, he wanted to have sex.
He said, would you have sex with me? I was like, no. He's like, what, you scared of your boyfriend? And when he came, he had a flat tire. He asked to use my sister four-wayer to take the tire off. So my daddy was trying to help him. And when he came in to see Taquan, he said, oh, Taquan look like you and your mama.
Judge Lake drops the bomb.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Bell, you are the father.
Thank you, Lord Jesus. Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
Right from the jump, this whole thing is just bananas. Mr. Barlow's got 8 kids, and he says they all look like him, except for one, little Jabril, who he's sure isn't his. Oh boy, things are about to get real messy.
Mr. Barlow, you say your 8 kids look exactly like you, but the defendant's son, Jabril, looks nothing like you. And that's because you're not his father, and you know who is.
Here we go, things are heating up. Mr. Barlow starts dishing out details about all these shady calls he made to Ms. Winslow while he was away, where she kept saying the landlord was over. The back and forth is pure drama, and we're not even close to done yet.
I believe she was sleeping with the landlord.
You do?
Yeah.
And that's not possible, Your Honor. The landlord.
Why do you believe that? What evidence do you have?
While I was away, I would call all the time because I got a long past of infidelity.
A very long
so
history.
I left. When I went away, she said pay back some.
Okay, plot twist. The landlord is suddenly super generous and things get weird. Ms. Winslow explains that the landlord let her move in without a big deposit because she'd gotten scammed by another landlord. This story's only getting crazier, and Mr. Barlow's side-eyeing gets worse.
What I went to do is get my lights cut on, and they told me that the place that I was trying to rent wasn't even rentable. Therefore, I'm driving around in a U-Haul with no place to go. I come across a landlord. I have no money. I just gave my $2,000 to a landlord. Okay, well, since you don't have anything right now, and I see you with your 3 children in a U-Haul truck, when you get the deposit back from the previous landlord, then you can start paying me.
If you thought this couldn't get more awkward, welcome to Mr. Barlow's jealousy issues. Mr. Barlow's convinced something's up, and the way he's talking, it sounds like he's about to start a conspiracy club.
You know what the real problem is, Your Honor? Mr. Barlow didn't know what the landlord looked like, so when he finally saw the landlord, he was like, oh, I thought the landlord, when he found out he was around our age, that that's when his insecurities came in.
I came home one time. I just
Your
popped up,
Honor.
right? I pop up one time. They crossing the street. I think the dude is stranger because I ain't never met him yet.
Now the plot thickens. Ms. Winslow drops a hospital mix-up bombshell. At this point, it feels like anything could be true in this saga.
He doesn't look like me or Mr. Barlow. So now that leads me to believe the only way that this baby is not this man's child, he's not mine. I believe something happened at the hospital, and it would devastate me, Your Honor. I have a strong connection with my son. Now, if this boy isn't my son, that means not only do I have to find out.
Judge Lake tries to wrap her head around the baby switch theory, and you can tell she's a little mind blown. You can feel the tension as Judge Lake walks out, and everyone's holding their breath for answers. It's about to get real.
You pulled up research, and this is research that talks about the fact that there are about 28,000 babies that get switched at birth in the hospital every year. Now, sometimes that's temporary, but sometimes permanently. And you have so much doubt, not just surrounding the paternity, you're the child's mother because everywhere you go, people are asking you.
Cue the dramatic return. Judge Lake announces that Ms. Winslow is, without a doubt, Jabril's biological mom, 99% sure. So we finally have one answer, but Mr. Barlow's still on the fence. You know he's about to demand more proof.
These results state that the probability of maternity is 99.9999%. You, Ms. Winslow, are Jabril's mother.
That's all I needed to hear, Your Honor.
And I can see you're truly relieved.
It's a weight lifted off of my shoulder.
Time for some backstory, and it's juicy. Ms. Winslow lets loose about their on and off 11-year relationship, mentioning that Mr. Barlow has fathered multiple kids with other women while they were together. Mr. Barlow's jealousy is on full display, but the way this story's going, there's still more to come.
And I have never cheated on this man. I've been with this man for 11 years, off and on. He have not only had twins on me, but triplets as well. So it's not like a little simple thing like he hasn't done anything to me. Yes, as a woman, I stand here with my backbone, and I've accepted all of his wrongdoing.
Now things get official. Ms. Winslow whips out the birth certificate with Mr. Barlow's signature on it. That signature makes him legally responsible, whether or not he's the bio dad. It's getting intense, and you know it's all leading up to the big reveal.
The birth certificate, Your Honor, that Mr. Barlow so gracefully signed.
So, Mr. Barlow, this is your name?
Yes,
listed as the father on the birth certificate.
Yes, it is.
So
I was there during the delivery. I was there to sign the birth certificate because there's no way for me to say this is not my child. I got 9 children, and out of those other 8 children,
the moment everyone's been waiting for, DNA time.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Barlow, you are the father.
Thank you. Thank you.
Wow, this is about to get wild. Judge Lake introduces the case, Thomas v. Zachary, where Mr. Thomas wants a DNA test to find out if he's really the dad of little Hannah. And let me tell you, things are about to get messy real quick.
Mr. Thomas, you claim you've been petitioning the court system for a DNA test for 15-month-old Hannah Thomas for more than a year now.
Yes, Your Honor.
Right out the gate, Mr. Thomas goes off saying he's been begging for this DNA test for over a year. He says he signed the birth certificate because he was tricked. Yeah, this dude's ready to bring some major drama, and it's only just beginning.
Now, you've been notified that you will be paying support because you signed the birth certificate, but claim it was under false pretenses. Now, the court will decide whether there's reasonable cause to grant you a DNA test today.
Oh, and here comes Ms. Zachary, already calling Mr. Thomas out. She says he knew all along he'd be on the hook for child support since she had to apply for help. She's got a totally different story, and you can just feel the awkward tension building.
That is a lie, what he's saying. He knew that he was going to pay child support because I receive a medical card. I also receive cash assistance. I have to cooperate with child support in order to receive those assistance.
Your Honor, me and Rakaya were separated towards July. August, we got back together, towards the end of August, into September, she told me I feel pregnant. And we went to buy like maybe 4 or 5 pregnancy tests.
Mr. Thomas thinks he's got the timeline all figured out, saying he and Ms. Zachary got back together, and soon after she told him she was pregnant, he figured, hey, that's my kid. But oh boy, if only things stayed that simple.
Now, I found out that I was pregnant September 18th, to be exact. exact with you. I went to that doctor's appointment and I came home, I handed him the papers. This is my results at the doctor. This is my proof of pregnancy.
No, Your Honor, I never received any paperwork, Your Honor. She said she was between 3 to 5 weeks. We got back together in August. We were having a lot of makeup sex, you could say. So I'm like, okay.
Now, here's where Mr. Thomas starts getting real suspicious. He says Ms. Zachary started looking way too pregnant for the timing she gave him. Things just weren't adding up for him. But little did he know, this was just the start of his head-scratching moments.
So you're doing the calculation in your mind and you say if baby was conceived in August, then...
More than likely, I didn't have any doubts that it was my baby. After a couple months, I'm looking like, wow, she's getting kind of big, kind of fast, She's, 5, 6 weeks. What's going on?
Okay, so this doctor's visit really sends Mr. Thomas's brain spinning. He sees paperwork showing she's further along than she told him. And he's like, hold up, those dates don't match. But hey, it's about to get even weirder as they keep talking.
Went to the doctor, maybe probably was about 3 or 4 weeks later, and he was telling me like, look, you need to be on her about smoking a cigarette. Here's her paperwork. And he showed me the paperwork and it said 15 or 17 weeks or something like that. I'm like, hold on, wait a minute, y'all.
No.
Yes.
The doctors asked her, told her, encouraged her to stop smoking, but you also gotta look at the paperwork.
Now let's talk about that break. Mr. Thomas is all, a break doesn't mean you start dating other people. But Ms. Zachary's like, yeah, that's exactly what a break means. These two clearly need a dictionary, but wait till you hear what Mr. Thomas says next.
Break for us is, I'm leaving out the house, I'm gonna go to my parents' house for a while, or you leave and you go with your mom or something like that.
No, that's not a break.
That was a break between us, and we were always back together within a month's time. So it was still no excuse. A break is not an excuse to go sleep with someone and have a child by someone else at all.
Oh boy, this part's a doozy. Mr. Thomas says he signed the birth certificate after they had a secret deal. If her other guy stayed out of the picture, he'd keep things quiet. Not exactly the recipe for family bonding, huh?
And then you signed the birth certificate when you were at the hospital.
He had her sister come get the children. I came up to the hospital. I was with her the whole night, all until she had the baby. I was there. It was no problem. This was the agreement from the beginning. If the guy that I believe is Hannah's dad, if he didn't have any part, anything, I would sign a birth certificate and Hannah would never know a thing. This would be the biggest family secret that we ever had, and I had no problem with that.
Hold on to your popcorn, because this is where it gets even messier. Mr. Thomas drops the bomb that Ms. Zachary recently saw her other guy and even brought him to their shared home. Just when you think it can't get crazier, Ms. Zachary has something to say that'll make your jaw drop.
She was still sleeping with this man after Hannah was born. Yana, matter
Is
of
that
fact,
true, Ms. Zachary?
Yes, I was. Because we decided that we wasn't going to be together. We've been on and off for 5 years.
And we were on a break for a month. She just slept with him 2 weeks ago in my bed. She didn't go to his house. She didn't go to a hotel. It was the bed that we shared.
Enter Mr. Hill, Mr. Thomas's uncle, who just adds fuel to this blazing fire. He says he doesn't think Mr. Thomas is the dad, and even claims Ms. Zachary once showed him a picture of the real father. It's like a soap opera at this point, and Mr. Hill isn't done stirring the pot.
I don't think that he is the father of Hannah.
You don't?
And the reason why is because she just don't look like him. And another reason, one time me and, Rakaya was hanging out in the house. They had got into it. He had left to get some air. She had actually showed me pictures. I don't know if she was mad or I don't know if she was in the feelings or something. I had never told him this, ever.
Here we go, because this phone bit is just pure chaos. Mr. Thomas finds a contact on Ms. Zachary's phone labeled Hannah's dad. That's not even his number. His trust is officially gone, and now a DNA test feels more necessary than ever.
I was going through her phone the other day. I see Hannah's dad.
Really?
I see the number in Hannah's dad, it put a smile on my face, I'm like, oh yeah, I've been gone for a couple weeks, She got my name under Hannah's dad, we're getting there, and I look at it and I'm like, hold on. And I'm reading a text message, I'm like, this isn't me, this isn't even my phone number. The rest of the kids come and tell me Hannah's dad was here.
Things get surprisingly sad here as Mr. Thomas pours his heart out about how much he loves the kids and worries he might lose his place in their lives. With the test coming up, all he can do is cross his fingers and hope.
Even my oldest daughter, she always, when I'm gonna see my little sister? I don't walk around telling people this is not my daughter. All of her kids look at me like their father. I'm their father. When I get in from work, it can be 2 o'clock in the morning, it can be 5 o'clock in the afternoon. They're choking me to death, trying to get up and hug me. Hannah, she's jumping up and down when I come through the door. I love the kids just like they my kids, and they are my kids.
Here it is, folks, the big reveal.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Thomas, you are her father.
Whoa, talk about a wild start. Ms. Petty is telling the judge that she wants her daughter, Alea, to have a dad because she didn't have one growing up. And hold up, because things are about to get a lot messier. Just got a whole lot weirder, and we're not done yet. Wait, what? That's just the beginning of the roller coaster. Mr. Bal says he's sure he's not the dad because Alea has Mr. Daniels' last name on her birth certificate. Just when you think things couldn't get crazier, they totally do. Oh boy, here's where the judge gets real with them. Judge Lake tells Ms. Petty that she's repeating the cycle of her own childhood by having a kid with dad drama. And just when you think they're all gonna calm, it's got a whole lot more awkward. Ms. Petty talks about how she had to deal with a bunch of bullies in school because she was dating were the least of her problems compared to what's happening now.
When I first met Mr. Ball, I fell in love with him.
In cycles of your own,
Yes.
and yet you still stepped in.
Yes, Your Honor.
That's commendable.
And
You all had another sexual encounter that day.
I wasn't even trying to that day.
But not about
I promise you.
the moment everyone's been waiting for, the DNA results.
is the biological father. Mr. Ball, you are her father.
Now here's the kicker. Mr. Richardson signed the birth certificate even though he wasn't even sure he was the dad. She's saying he had every chance to back out, but now he's regretting it. Things are about to get even more awkward.
Mr. Richardson, you claim you made a huge mistake. You signed the birth certificate of the defendant's 2-month-old son, DeMarlon, even though you doubt you are his father. You want to prove your case before you end up paying child support for a baby you know isn't yours.
And here's where it starts getting hilarious. Mr. Richardson says he had doubts because the baby looked, well, way too light. Judge Lake reminds them that looks aren't everything, but Mr. Richardson is still side-eyeing the whole thing. You won't believe how they met.
When I saw the baby, he was so white. He looked like a Mexican or something. He was just real light.
A Mexican? That doesn't matter. Children come in all shapes and sizes, and he just had spent 9 months or more in the womb.
That's true. Yana, you gotta realize, when I was dating her, she was very sneaky.
Believe it or not, this whole situation started in a club of all places. Mr. Richardson remembers meeting Ms. Robbins there, and right off the bat, she told him she was married, but kind of hinted she'd be open to hanging out. Now, they're bringing up the night DeMarlon was conceived.
I met her at a club, came, approached her, didn't think she was gonna give me the time of day or nothing.
So he pursued me.
Yeah, you're right about that. I did pursue you.
For a long time.
And we got to talking, and then she told me, she said, I'm married, but I'm willing to maybe see you or something, play around with you.
Things get weirdly specific as Ms. Robbins describes the night they think they made DeMarlon, a night she calls a blessing for her new home. The judge is just trying to keep a straight face at this point. Wait till you hear about the pregnancy test.
Is DeMarlon's biological father?
No doubt. And I know that, like, the night we conceived, it was me and him. I remember a lot. He doesn't even remember, like, people's names, his middle name. He don't remember nothing. So how are you going to say that you remember the night that we conceived when you can't even remember what the next...
Do you remember the night?
I remember the night.
Okay.
This part gets even stranger when they take the pregnancy test together, but Mr. Richardson is still acting like he's not totally convinced. Pretending gets him through for now, but it's clear he's full of doubts, and he's about to lay out his reasons.
What do you want to do? I said, we're gonna have the baby because we doing some stupid stuff. Not gonna blame this child. We're gonna have it.
So you decided that we should have the baby?
You were pretending like you were happy?
That's nice. That's nice. And still be with me the whole time.
Sneaky, but I mean,
like, I don't get it.
I mean, because
of what? I'm sorry.
Pregnant sex.
Okay.
Just when you think it couldn't get worse, Mr. Richardson drops more reasons why he's not buying this whole dad thing. Mr. Richardson feels it's just one more reason not to trust the situation, but then he starts questioning her finances.
Mr. Richardson, please tell me if there's any other reason you have doubt.
I went to one doctor's appointment with her, right? And then I went to go to the other ones. She told me, no, you don't have to come.
I don't need you to hold my hand.
I don't need you to hold my hand.
You're telling me he's not mine, this is not my baby, all this the whole time. So why would I let you be a part of that?
Now, we dive into the money mystery. Mr. Richardson wants to know where Ms. Robbins suddenly got cash for Christmas. Ms. Robbins is just rolling her eyes, saying she got it all legit. Next up, things get personal as he accuses her of cheating.
Christmas time, she just moved into our new place. She had to put down $2,800. She was complaining to me that I have no Christmas money to buy.
But I didn't ask you for any money at that time either, did I?
She come up with all this money after she put this down payment on her to move in our place. And I said, where you get this money from? She told me I got it from my 401k. I said, that fast?
Well, I have been on my job as what they call a Christmas account.
And here's where things get spicy. Mr. Richardson thinks Ms. Robbins was out with someone else because she came home smelling like intimacy. Judge Lake tries to keep the peace, but Mr. Richardson's doubts are getting bigger by the second. And then there's the whole missed DNA test appointment.
She came home, Yana. She sat next to me. I'm like, what's going on? I'm like, I recognize that smell. I haven't had it in a while, but I recognize it. I said, you smell like sack. I don't know what you at work.
I'm doing that, but I'm at work all day, but that's how I come home smelling, really?
Sometimes you tell me you been at work.
We're not gonna say how you smell when you come home from work.
Well,
here's the kicker. Ms. Robbins actually had an appointment for a DNA test, but ended up canceling it, which only makes Mr. Richardson more suspicious. Judge Lake points out that dodging the test looks pretty fishy. By now, the judge has had enough.
she made an appointment. We supposed to split 1:35. It was 2 something to go get a DNA test. She said, I set an appointment. I'm gonna come at 4:30. 3:30 come, sitting around. Okay, appointment's at 4:30. 4 o'clock come, we sitting around. 4:15, we sitting around. I'm like, what's up? And I asked her.
But did you go to the appointment?
No, Your Honor.
This case hits a boiling point as Judge Lake starts calling them out for all this back and forth nonsense. But finally, she's about to reveal the results, and everyone's on edge.
This is honest, Miss Robbins. Whether he's right or wrong, only the DNA is gonna be able to decide that. He feels like what you say has no credibility. Because when you met him, you not married, then you was married, then you gotta get your divorce decree online. You don't have a physical copy of it. And in this moment in time, you have the opportunity to resolve all of this and shut him up.
Judge Lake decides to really push Ms. Robbins on why she dodged the DNA test that could have solved all of this. The judge gives both of them a piece of her mind about all these games. And now, here come the DNA results.
That looks like you dodging the test.
But I'm not, though.
We got the appointment.
We were going to
reschedule it now. Why?
We rescheduled it because I told him that we could do it at a later.
Was it because he was already on the birth certificate and you felt like, you know what, you're the legal father anyway, so I really don't have to get up out of my bed.
No, I really didn't care about
playing games and being silly while DeMarlon is still on pause.
At long last, the big reveal is here.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Richardson, you are the father.
You won't believe this? Stay tuned as this is about to get seriously messy. Mr. Andrews and his mom are suing Ms. Corbett, saying she faked his signature on their kid's birth certificate. And trust me, it's just getting started.
Mr. Andrews, you and your mother are in court today suing your ex, Ms. Corbett, for paternity fraud because you claim she forged your signature on the birth certificate of her 5-month-old son, who you believe is not your biological son.
Things are heating up as Mr. Andrews spills the tea on the day of the baby's birth, and you'll want to see who jumps in next with their side of the story.
Day of the birth, I cut the umbilical cord, I requested a blood test, I stayed at the hospital for like 24 hours, and the following day I ended up leaving to retrieve a car seat. I didn't sign nothing.
You claim somebody put your name on the birth certificate.
Yeah, obviously.
No, it's no way possible for me to just put his name on a birth certificate. The only reason why he's saying that he did not sign the birth certificate is because his mother told him not to sign my child's birth certificate.
If you thought things couldn't get wilder, think again. Mr. Andrews throws out a big one, accusing Ms. Corbett of, well, seeing the whole neighborhood. Judge Lake steps in, telling everyone to keep it respectful, but we all know it's about to get even juicier.
I wouldn't even call it a relationship, Your Honor, because she slept with the whole damn city, the whole neighborhood.
Let's use respectful language in the courtroom.
She slept around with everybody in our neighborhood.
If that was true, I would have slept with her husband because he wanted me to.
Oh, Lord.
That's a lie.
Okay, let's stay on track.
Now, here's where things go full detective mode. Mr. Andrews pulls out a diagram of the apartment, explaining why he thinks Ms. Corbett had another guy over. But wait until you hear about the mystery text.
Your Honor?
What does this diagram show?
This right here is a 2-story apartment building. This right here, like 2 feet from the driveway, is like the front entrance. And you could sit right here and like literally watch all this. And if somebody murdered him over here, it'd be real obvious. The guy she had in there tried to creep around and sneak on this side of the building and come out. She even had a bike in inside the house.
Just when you think this can't get crazier, in comes Mr. Andrews with another bombshell. Ms. Corbett rolls her eyes, calling him a liar. But hang on, because next, it's about the baby.
Is this your only doubt?
No, ma'am. Phone messages in her phone where some guy obviously was telling her, leave the back door open and be naked when I arrive.
Oh, you saw the message?
Yes, ma'am. She denied that in my face. I'm looking at the message in the phone. That's one reason.
Ms. Corbett?
That's like the third reason. The other reason I just showed you on the diagram.
And now it's accusation central. Ms. Corbett claims Mr. Andrews barely sees the baby and once even threatened to drop him off at a fire station. But she's about to lay down the law about what really matters here, paternity.
So how many times have you seen Quinn Jr.?
Over a dozen times.
So you spent quality time with him?
He does not. I have to beg him for to come get my child. He was there 6 days. I told Quinn, I said, Quinn, you have to come meet me somewhere. I can't drive all the way down there. He was gonna drop my child off at a fire station.
Your Honor, I told her that just to get her to move because she lied to me and told me she was threatening me with the police.
Surprise, surprise.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Andrew, you are the father.
Let it be known
Those first week or two, we had sex like 4 or 5 times a day.
So you had it in your mind that if I get my wife pregnant, she'll stop stripping.
Kind of like how she just said, I'm gonna strip and I'm gonna do whatever I want, that's what I'm gonna do. I said, oh really? Okay, I'll give you a 9-month break on me. I mean, so.
Things kicked off wild, and it only got crazier from there. She's certain his denial is all because of his girlfriend's influence. This sounds simple, but trust me, it's anything but.
Miss Caples, you say you are 100% certain that the defendant is your 15-month-old son, Jason's biological father, and today he's going to put his name on the dotted line right in front of his girlfriend.
The relationship status was about as confusing as it could get. You'd think things would be easy after that, but wait till you hear what's next.
What was the nature of this relationship?
To be completely honest, Your Honor, me and Mr. Harris, we were never in a relationship. Let's clarify that now. We were just sleeping together. That's pretty much it.
Were you in another relationship?
No,
I was not, no.
I wasn't.
You find out you're pregnant. Obviously, you weren't using protection if there's a question that he's biological father.
Yes, Your Honor.
And right when you thought you'd figured it out, another guy pops into the story. Miss Caples admits she did date someone else, but it was after she got pregnant with Jason. This timeline is all over the place.
So who's this other guy that was in the picture?
After me and Mr. Harris were done and over with.
You were already pregnant at the point you started dating the other man?
Correct. And I have an exhibit if I could show you.
Absolutely. Please step over to the podium.
Thank you. As you can see, my son Jason was born January 9th, 2016. Me and Mr. Harris were intimate for 9 months, all the way up until May, the beginning of May.
If you thought things were weird before, now it's exhibit a time. But Mr. Harris is like, maybe? Since he was apparently seeing other women too and doesn't remember the exact dates. I mean, could this case get any messier?
Mr. Harris, if you don't remember whether or not you were with her, is it because you were involved more than one woman? So that's why you really can't say for certain who you were with on what date. Now, Miss Caples, I have to ask you, were you involved with more than one man?
No, I was not, and he did not tell me that he was dealing with other women while me and him were talking. So I did not know that he was playing the
Men usually don't tell you. They want to keep
She went through my phone and texted other women back.
This part, total shocker. Just when you think you've heard it all, the story somehow gets even more awkward.
When we contacted Mr. Harris and told him that Ms. Shatera Caples summoned him for a DNA test, he said, I don't know who you're talking about. I said, Muffin?
That is correct.
I'm pretty sure I told him my name. Would you remember Shantira or would you remember Muffin? Would I go by around town?
If you having sex for that many months with the same person without using any protection, you gotta at least know their name.
Just when it seems like it can't get worse, we learn Mr. Harris wasn't there when Jason was born. You'd think things couldn't get more uncomfortable, but oh, they do.
Did he get to come to the delivery room?
He didn't have a ride, Your Honor.
He didn't have a ride?
Have a ride.
No, I was at the work when she delivered the baby. The next morning I came up there and I looked at him. He didn't look like me at all.
No, he does
and
not.
I had my doubt. I had been had my doubts, but like I say, everybody around town says that she goes around saying it's another guy's baby.
Did you sign the birth certificate?
No, I did not.
Because you did not want to, or you were not even asked?
And here's where the cringe hits max level, as if things weren't heated enough already.
Hold on, what is this about the hospital room, Miss Caples?
She was undergoing surgery, getting ready to have my tubes tied.
That is my job.
Your Honor, as a woman, I would not want to be in a room with a woman that's having my boyfriend's baby.
Okay, so you were the patient.
You work at the hospital, right?
Yes, ma'am.
And then that was where they told you your station or where you were supposed to be? You were assigned to that?
Today, we got our stuff to do. Yes, ma'am.
Things got intense as Mr. Harris admits he wasn't so sure Jason was his son, thanks to rumors and Miss Caples' comments. Now, everyone's on edge to see if he's the dad or not.
Have I heard all your doubts, Mr. Harris?
A lot of people around town telling me it's not mine, and let's say that's her words.
People are telling you if he's not yours, then she even says he's not yours.
Keep pushing me away while I'm trying to be there for the child.
But you don't think
it's
he's
kind
yours,
of like he's not.
So why would I keep? That's why I don't want to include you.
That's the reason for that.
You don't think he's yours.
All right, that's what we're here to solve today. Right. That's exactly why this courtroom exists.
The moment finally arrived and the tension was through the roof. Judge Lake reads the DNA results. Mr. Harris is not Jason's father, but Judge Lake isn't done with them just yet. She's got some parting wisdom.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Harris, you are not the father.
Thank you.
This case kicks off with a wild claim. Ms. Bailey, along with her daughter, is suing Mr. Parker, her daughter's estranged husband, for a cool $3,691.50 in childcare costs. And believe me, it only starts getting juicy. Ms. Bailey says Mr. Parker ditched her daughter when she was 16 weeks pregnant, leaving her to fend for herself without any help. And trust me, the accusations only get weird. Things are heating up. Mr. Parker claims Ms. Bailey's daughter neglected him, saying she refused to feed him and made him feel worthless. And guess what? The drama's just getting started.
The last few days,
there, Your Honor. She told me that I wasn't worth nothing. I was not allowed to eat, that I was not allowed to be a part of this family.
That's a lie.
Just when you think it can't get any stranger, Mr. Parker claims Ms. Bailey's daughter put a padlock on their bedroom door to keep him out. But wait till you hear what Mr. Parker says next. Couldn't get any wilder. Mr. Parker insists he was kept off the baby's birth certificate, which he says proves she's hiding something. And just when you think you've heard it all, Mr. Parker's mom steps in. It's family drama time as Charlotte Perez, Mr. Parker's mom, testifies, accusing Ms. Bailey's daughter of leaving Mr. Parker at her house anytime she needed a break. Judge Lake's patience is about to be seriously tested.
My son, they had one car that he bought, so she would have a car for her and these children.
He was able to buy that car because he claimed me and my child on his tax.
But it don't do no good if you don't work, stay on welfare and food stamps.
You know,
all right.
This whole scene has turned into pure chaos, and Judge Lake has had enough. You won't believe this whole thing kicks off with Ms. Richardson coming in strong, saying she and Mr. Smith were all in, trying to have a baby on purpose. Buckle up, folks. This one's gonna be a ride.
Ms. Richardson, you say you were in an exclusive relationship with Mr. Smith and even tried to have a baby together. But after you conceived your daughter, Kalani, Mr. Smith started denying your baby.
Yes, Your Honor.
You intend to prove he is the father today.
Okay, things get even crazier as Ms. Richardson says. Mr. Smith actually begged her to have a baby with him because he thought he might not live long. This wild story is just getting started, and believe it or not, it's about to get even wilder.
Around the time we were together for about 8 months, he had told me he was in a situation where he didn't know if he were going to live a long time, so he had said he wanted a child with me. Me being young and dumb and I was actually in love with him, I agreed on it. We were together. I had left Job Corps, which he was still in. I left on the 28th. On the 31st, I had sent for him to come in town for the weekends.
Judge Lake has zero chill and jumps in right away to give Ms. Richardson some real talk. You just know the judge is about to drop even more truth bombs.
You cannot have babies by everybody you feel like you fall in love with. I can see, we about 3 minutes in, and I can see that you decided you had fallen in love with him. And from there on, everything you heard come out his mouth, because he stood right here and the second thing out of his mouth was, I really wasn't trying to be with her that long, but if we wanted to have a baby and she wanted to do it, okay. Everything is so nonchalant.
Things go from sweet to awkward real fast. Ms. Richardson says she told Mr. Smith she was pregnant, and he was way too quiet on the phone. He kind of mumbled that he wanted to see the pregnancy test, but had doubts from day one, even though he says he was excited. Mr. Smith explains his mixed feelings, while Ms. Richardson says there was no way she cheated. Drama alert.
What was his reaction?
He was quiet on the phone and he had asked to see the pregnancy test.
And so, Mr. Smith, when you got this news that she was pregnant, was it the news you wanted to hear? Were you excited about having a baby?
I actually was excited.
At what point do you feel doubtful then?
Well, I was doubtful at the first.
You were?
Yes, I was.
And now, Mr. Smith's twin sister, Brianna, steps in to pour some fuel on the fire. Things just got real messy.
She would say stuff that would make him feel even more like Kalani's not his daughter. I would hear voicemails. I would see messages.
And what did these voicemails say?
She was upset at him. She just was saying how Kalani was sitting. She was with another dude and she was smiling and she was happy about the person, basically insinuating. Yeah.
Looked just like her.
Oh, here's a twist. Enter Mr. Brock, the Godfather, who's here to set things straight, or at least try to. But don't worry, it's about to get even more awkward.
What is your relationship exactly with Ms. Richardson?
I'm gonna keep it real with you. I would die for Brianna, and I'll take my last breath for that little girl up on the screen right there. And that's my goddaughter. And it's just because I've built that relationship with them that quick. We've told each other things that I have told nobody else.
Oh God, this is so exhausting.
So,
you all are all just kids.
Exactly.
And everything is so intense.
Next up, Ms. Bagley, the twins' mom, is here with her own roller coaster of emotions, saying she really wants Kalani to be her granddaughter. And if you think that's heartfelt, just wait until the DNA bombshell drops.
Do you believe Kalani is your granddaughter?
Yes, I do. They always did have problems, but I stayed neutral, you know, because I didn't want to get in between not seeing her because I'm on my son's side, but he was holding the baby and kissing on her. I'm like, I don't even know this guy. Do my son know this guy? If you're a godfather, why we don't know you?
Judge Lake calls for everyone to focus on Kalani, saying, all right, enough of this drama, let's get real. The room is silent as they prepare for the DNA results, and you can feel the tension.
You all have all been through a lot, and because of that, you all are taking actions, like I said, that really don't support Kalani. And in this moment, let's all just refocus as we go forward to these results.
Finally, the moment of truth.
It has been determined by this court. The biological father is Mr. Smith.
Get ready, because this one starts off strong. Mr. Hunter opens the case with a big claim. He doesn't think he's the dad of Ms. Holden's son, Josiah. But Ms. Holden, she says she's 100% sure he's the dad. The stage is set for a wild back and forth.
Mr. Hunter, you opened your case in paternity court because you say there is no way you fathered the defendant's son. She's only saying you did because of the financial security you provide for her. Ms. Holden, you admit you were confused about your son's biological father because you were given incorrect medical information, but you are 100% certain Mr. Hunter is the father.
Brace yourselves, folks, because this guy's doing dad duties even with big doubts. Mr. Hunter explains he's been buying everything from diapers to baby clothes for Josiah. Things are getting complicated real quick, and this is only the beginning.
Because I take care of him financially, I do everything. Buy him diapers, milk, I buy clothes. Everything a father has to do to take care of a child, I do it.
So you pretty much stepped up as a father.
Yes, ma'am.
You have, but you have doubt. But Miss Holden, has he gotten emotionally attached to Josiah as well?
Yes, Your Honor.
So pretty much has accepted this child as his own?
Yes.
This story of how they got together has some interesting twists. Judge Lake thinks it's sweet, but we all know there's more to this romance than just cake and good deeds.
Well, we lived on the same street. I met him when I was 15. We both was in a relationship. Then we both became single. I invited him over to and he offered to pay for the booth at the party and offered to buy the cake.
Did you have any benefits in the back of your mind that you were looking to get later?
No, ma'am.
You didn't. Just a nice guy. Pleasant and refreshing, right, Jerome?
Hold up, they can't even agree on what happened the first night. Ms. Holden says they got cozy on her birthday, but Mr. Hunter says, nope, that didn't happen. If they can't even agree on this, it's gonna be a long, bumpy ride.
So at what point did you all turn this platonic friendship into a sexual relationship? Did you what about dating? How did this happen?
The night of the party, we both was intoxicated.
Oh.
I invited him over,
yeah, but that
and
night,
one thing led to another.
That night we didn't sleep.
Yes, we did, Your Honor.
So on the birthday night, you said you did have sex, and Mr. Hunter, you say you did not.
Yeah, we did that night.
Things are getting messy, folks. They argue about using protection. Hunter says yes, Ms. Holden says no. And wait until you hear about how she dropped the pregnancy news on him.
So were you having sex with protection?
No.
Here we go. You all haven't agreed on one thing yet. Who said yes?
She said no, I said yes, we were using protection.
No, we wasn't.
That's what we call reasonable doubt in a criminal court. So now listen, you're having sex, one says you're using protection, one says you're not. Are you having sex with anybody else?
When Ms. Holden tells Mr. Hunter she's pregnant, it's pure drama. Just when he thought things couldn't get worse, she tells him there might be another dad possibility. Get ready for a bombshell about the birth certificate.
So when you find out you're pregnant, you got one friend that you dating that Mr. Hunter is aware of, and now you've also made this friend, Mr. Hunter, into a sexual partner. When you get pregnant, who do you tell?
Mr. Hunter.
What happened?
I called him over, and he came over, and I was so sleepy, and he was like, you must be pregnant because I'm sick.
This is a real wait, what? Moment. Ms. Holden admits she put another guy's name on Josiah's birth certificate, even though Mr. Hunter has been the one paying for everything. And yep, we're about to dive into due date confusion.
Did you put Mr. Hunter's name on the birth certificate, Ms. Holden?
No, Your Honor.
Did anybody bring a copy of that birth certificate?
I have evidence.
I'd like to see that. This is Josiah's birth certificate?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Hunter, is that your last name under?
No, ma'am.
Whose last name is that, Miss Holden?
The other guy.
The other guy.
Oh, you think this story makes sense? Think again. It's like a math puzzle gone wrong, and the suspense just keeps climbing.
In November the 15th, this is when I slept with Mr. Hunter. I went to the doctor. My first due date they gave me was August 2nd. I went back to the doctor, and they gave me August 9th, and I slept with the other man on the 18th of November.
When you had the original due date, for you counted back.
Yes, that Mr. Hunter was the father.
Grab a tissue, folks, because this part's kind of sweet. Mr. Hunter shares that he's grown attached to Josiah, who's just started calling him Dada. What he says next makes everyone's heart break a little more.
You know, Mr. Hunter, I can see this really bothers you.
I mean, it bothers me because I'm starting to get attached. He recently just started coming to me, so.
But you know this baby is coming to you because he thinks you are his daddy.
Right.
And you're starting to form a bond.
I mean, he recently just started calling me Dada, so, you know.
That's a beautiful thing when you hear a child say that.
Ms. Holden opens up about her own past, and things get real. Judge Lake gives her a soft look, knowing what's at stake, and the audience braces for the DNA results.
Because I grew up without a father. It affected me emotionally because I was into sports. I didn't have a father figure there to support me. And now I have a little boy that might be a football. He need a father there. to support him.
And your fear is Mr. Hunter will leave or not be as present in this child's life if it's not his biological child?
Yes, Your Honor.
Talk about a jaw dropper.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Hunter, you are not the father.
Yes. Oh boy, you're not gonna believe what you're about to see here. She's hoping to save their family by proving he's the dad, while Mr. Cottle says if he isn't, he wants his name off the birth certificate ASAP. And trust me, this is just the warm-up.
Mr. Cottle, you say you're not a doctor, but when a woman is having sex with more than one man at the same time, the odds are against you. And once the results reveal you aren't the father, you want your name off the birth certificate.
Just when you think it can't get crazier, Ms. Wolf talks about her ex, Lucas, cheating on her with her friend. So she took it as her sign to get back at him. Trust me, things are only heating up.
We met on a dating site and I moved in with him about a week after meeting him. 2 weeks in our relationship, I invited my friend to come hang out with me. While I was sleeping, I woke up and I went to the bedroom door. The door was locked, so I kept pounding on the door for them to open it, and I saw my friend's underwear on the floor. So right then and there, I knew that they had sex, and then I asked them, was like, yeah, we did have sex, I'm sorry.
Just when you think there can't be more people involved, here comes Mr. Chittum, Ms. Wolf's ex-boyfriend, who's ready to tell his side of this tangled story. If you think it's a lot now, wait till you see what's next.
You were in a relationship with Miss Wolf first.
That is correct, Your Honor.
And you started a sexual relationship?
Yes, Your Honor.
And then she said she invited her friend to come, and you and the friend slept together.
That is correct.
So now how do you find out that Miss Wolf was then intimate with your friend, Mr. Cottle?
One of my friends texted me.
What did she say?
She was pretty much denying it all.
The judge pulls out some Facebook photos that make the whole thing even wilder. And yep, things just keep getting weirder from here.
Is the court uncovered a couple of Facebook photos. Now this is you, Ms. Wolf, kissing Mr. Chittum.
Yes.
And on the bottom of that screen, which you can't see, you were a Dallas Cowboy fan.
Yes, Your Honor.
Then we uncovered this photo. This is you and Mr. Cottle in pretty much the exact same pose, but a different team, because this one says Seattle Seahawks.
All right, so here's where things get real. Ms. Wolf tries to deny it, but the polygraph says otherwise, making Mr. Cottle wonder what else he might be missing. Just wait though, there's more to come.
Mr. Chittum, you met with a certified polygraph expert and you were asked the following question. Did you have sexual intercourse with Ms. Wolf during her pregnancy with Zane? You said yes. The lie detector determined you were being truthful.
Yes, that is truthful.
Only up till
I was pregnant and you knew that.
Things take a cringe-worthy turn when Judge Lake reads some pretty spicy messages Ms. Wolf sent Mr. Chittum. Spoiler alert, it's about to get even messier.
So this message was from approximately 3 weeks ago. Are you joking me? He does nothing for you? God, he got me so angry. Come blank me. It doesn't say talk, but it says come blank me. He answers why, and you answer I need blank.
This next part has everyone in the courtroom's jaws dropping. Trust me, this story is one for the books, and there's still more to go.
So, Miss Wolf, why are you so convinced Mr. Chittum is not Zane's biological father?
I have evidence.
Oh, you haven't. This conception calculator indicates you were ovulating between the 22nd and the 27th?
Yes, Your Honor.
And you tracked this. I mean, it is possible
I
for a woman.
I planned it, yes.
Oh, you tracked it and you planned it?
Yes, because at the time I loved Lucas and I knew he couldn't have kids and I wanted us to have a family.
It's time for the DNA reveal, and no one's breathing in this courtroom. Judge Lake opens the envelope, and guess what?
It has been determined by this court. The biological father is Mr. Cottle. You are the biological father.
Oh, buckle up, because this case is wild from the start. He's here asking for a paternity test to figure things out, but hold on to your popcorn. It's about to get even juicier.
Mr. Threlkeld, you state that while you were out of the country serving in the military, your wife paraded around town with other men, and she has admitted to cheating multiple times. You claim you are not sure if you are the father of her third child, 18-month-old Liliana, and have asked the court for a paternity test.
This story is so crazy it sounds made up, but here we go. While he was in Afghanistan, Mr. Threlkeld got a super random tip that his wife was stripping. And trust me, the courtroom isn't ready for what Mrs. Threlkeld has to say next.
Actually, ma'am, I was overseas in Afghanistan. A soldier of mine came up to me and tapped me on the boot, said, hey, I need to go outside. We need to talk right now. Me and him got into some words, so I thought we were gonna, settle it. Well, it turns out his wife and my wife were friends, and she had found out that she was actually stripping as we spoke. At the time, the internet lounge got on Facebook and asked her, hey, is it true you're doing what I told you I didn't want you doing at all.
Wait till you hear this. She says she wasn't doing anything wrong and only started exotic dancing because her husband wasn't bringing in enough cash. Her reasons don't really make it better, and you just know things are about to get even messier.
First of all, we were done. He hacked my Facebook. He invaded my privacy. He looked into my stuff, into my messages.
So
that's how we found out.
What did he find?
There were messages, but
actually, ma'am, see, she's gonna. That's already a lie. She actually, I got on there, and on the inbox, I see, oh baby, I can't wait to see you later on tonight. I had a great time with you. I went together. It's been amazing.
These are the messages
yes, ma'am.
Seeing.
And here's the part where they totally disagree on whether they were done or not. Just wait, because what he says next is about to make everything way more complicated.
You thought your marriage was over.
Stuff as it may be.
Yes.
Because you all had an argument about you stripping and you hung up.
We hung up and we said it was done because I wanted to do what I wanted to do.
You wanted to do what you wanted to do.
Exactly.
And why is it that you wanted to strip?
Because we got married too young. Well, I needed to
She wanted to be a hooker in training,
will
so
you
she'd
just
start
let
stripping?
me talk?
Well,
no.
Just when you think it can't get sadder, we find out about Mr. Threlkeld's heartbreaking return. His frustration only grows, and things are far from over as they head to the next explosive moment.
When I actually went out, the day I was supposed to come back home from overseas, we were told before we even got on the plane that the news was going to be there. I get there, and not my father, my mother, my wife, like I said, we'll quote that, weren't even there. You know, they call everybody's names up, everybody's clapping and cheering, they come to my name, and it's just dead quiet. No one was there. So as everybody's getting ready to go home, I'm sitting there with my bags. I didn't even have a phone yet, so I couldn't even call her. I'm sitting there under a street light, army bag on one side and a suitcase on the other.
Now this part is straight out of a soap opera. He decides to call up the guy his wife's been chatting with, but it's not exactly the convincing response he was hoping for, and things just keep heating up with the next argument.
Because I saw the guy, she hadn't fully admitted that she's been seeing this guy, so I snatched the phone from her and I started going through it. There was a number that she'd called like 13 times. So I called him right back, and he answers the phone, hey, you know, I said, who is this? Are you the one that's... And now her defense, she starts laughing, saying, I knew he was just going to say that. He's just saying that to make you mad. And it was ridiculous. I mean, that was just the only defense.
So when he calls the guy on the phone, you deny.
In a what was he thinking kind of moment, Mr. Threlkeld reveals he thought a baby might actually fix things. His plan didn't go exactly as he thought, and now things are about to get even more awkward.
When I got back home, within those first week or two, we had sex like 4 or 5 times a day.
So you had it in your mind that if I get my wife pregnant, she'll stop stripping.
Roger,
because that's going to definitely
what she tells me, kind of like she just said, kind of like how she just said, I'm going to strip and I'm going to do whatever I want because that's what I'm going to do. I said, oh, really? Okay, I'll give you a 9-month break on me. I mean, so.
Here's where the drama gets cranked up. He wanted her to take a lie detector test to settle his doubts once and for all. The shocking stuff just keeps coming as we finally get closer to finding out the truth about Liliana.
Mr. Threlkeld, you asked your wife to take a lie detector test at some point.
Before she came back, I said, look, you know, obviously the path we're going down right now isn't a good one. My insecurities, I'd like you to take a lie detector test. And she kept saying, oh, yeah, that's fine, I'll do it, you know, no big deal. She starts, you know, getting nervous. I could start telling from body language and, you know, tone of her voice, she was getting nervous.
We don't need a lie detector test, we just need communication.
This is where it gets brutal. Mrs. Threlkeld admits there's only a 50-50 chance that Liliana is her husband's daughter. It's a super tense moment for everyone in the room, and just when you think you can't take any more, it's finally time for the big reveal.
Do you think, honestly, that he is the father of Liliana?
It could be a 50-50 chance, honestly.
Anybody got a quarter?
Do you understand that for a man, for any person, that would be really hard to accept? There is a part of me that listens to you both talk and sees that one, if not both of you, maybe still wants to make this work.
And here's the moment everyone's been waiting for.
Pertaining to 1-year-old Liliana, Mr. Threlkeld, you are Liliana's father.